all the Post Malones.
Something is very loud in my ears right now.
Slamming your phone on the desk.
It's because it sounded like a fucking nuke was going on.
Has anyone figured out apparently this feedback we have? Nope. Leave it to Norm to swear instantly on the...
Yeah, thanks, Norm.
Good job.
Oh, no,
Our demonetization, dude.
Yep. Okay, how we doing on audio?
Mine, I have none, I think.
You want more?
Talk?
Yes.
Yeah,
hello?
no?
Hello?
So, yeah.
That's good?
Yeah.
Give me a little more.
A little more?
Yep.
That's a little more than that?
A little more perfect.
That's good. Okay. Alrighty. What's up, everybody? If anybody's here. All right. Just get myself situated. I'm going to mute that because that's going to get loud. Can you hear me now? Good.
Let me just make the posts.
Okay. That's that. That's that. That's that. All right.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of the Loose is Fast podcast, second to last for the season. Your podcast home for all things NASCAR, and some things not. I'm Kyle Belcher, and joined, as always, by Daniel Walker.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
And Norman Pelletier.
That was a fail, Melon.
On today's episode, we'll talk some NASCAR news, recap the weekend at Martinsville, have some fun, answer some questions. But before we get into that, Dan, pay the bills.
Brought to you this week and every other week by the Revival Motoring Network, the Revival Motoring Podcast, and revivalmotoring.com/B4B. Norm, what is that?
Bucks for the boys!
That. Bucks for the boys. That is our value for value monetization system where basically if you like what you hear on our show, you can help us pay the bills and be relevant around here. You go to revivalmotoring.com/B4B.
Bucks for the boys.
You can sign up for a monthly recurring donation, $2, $5, $10, or $20. That will get you entered to win some crap every month, and it will help you help us, basically, to which then we repay the favor by recording a show. See how that works?
Yeah, I like that.
Like a Venn diagram.
I like that.
You can also make a one-time monetary donation on PayPal using info@revivalmotoring.com. That is also the home of Kyle's Race Day Challenge. Kyle, what is Kyle's Race Day Challenge?
If you donate the dollar amount that matches the driver's number you believe will win on Sunday and guess correctly, we'll send you a little something.
Any 12s this week?
No.
Okay, didn't think so. So that is the two ways you can help directly monetarily. You can also go to, what is it, Kyle?
loosesfast.myshopify.com.
I'll learn one of these days. That is our merch shop. I don't think we have anything new on there since last episode.
Nothing from the past week.
Okay, so head there. We got some shirts, we got some hats, we got beanies, we got flags, we got fanny packs, we got koozies, you name it. Our logo's on it.
Yeah.
So go buy
support the boys.
Support the boys directly. Other ways you can help us out that are not monetary. Our favorite is reviews. Guess what? We don't have any. You guys are slacking. The last review was in September. We are now in the month of our Lord, November. And we haven't had a review in a while. So give us something to read so we can prove that we can.
Give thanks by filling out a review.
Yeah, that. We're still also have not hit 150 stars on Spotify yet. We're only at 148. I'm pretty sure we've been at 148 for a while.
Come on.
So go leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. Go leave us a star review on Spotify because there is no written reviews. Those are always fun to read, so go do that.
Perfect. Thank you for that,
That's
Dan.
pretty much it.
All right, we'll get right into things. I know we're starting a little late this evening, so if you're watching on the YouTubes, we appreciate you joining.
Yeah, we had to recap everything from the weekend, so it was fresh in our mind.
Yeah. So callbacks, as we always do, to TV ratings from the week prior. Talking about Homestead. Got 2.3 million viewers, which is up 4% from last year. And just looking back at the last couple weeks, 4 straight weeks of increases.
I was going to say, haven't most of the playoffs been increases?
6 of the last 7 races.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I think 2.3 is like the average right now.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Aside from the outlier of Dega was just over 3, well, almost 3.2. So,
Yep.
But that's Talladega. So good signs heading into next year. We'll take it. Now we call back to the ever tightening battle that is the race picks.
You could have made it real interesting this
Ooh,
week.
it was
Technically
close.
loosened up a little bit.
It actually did.
It was.
It did loosen up.
Yeah, true. Good point. Calling back to this past weekend at Martinsville, I chose Mr. William Byron, which was looking real good for me. Dan chose Christopher Bell, who had a terrible day.
Yeah, never looked good.
No
at
news
one point
about
in
him
that
at all.
race.
And Norm chose Kyle Larson, who quietly did okay. Got eliminated, but got Norm the point.
I would have liked for him to have won that race.
That would have been the end of
That
it.
would have been the
That
nail
would
in the
have
coffin.
made me very happy this week.
Yes. But that gets Norm an extra point, bringing the score to 20 for Norm. I have 18, and I am in a must-win. Dan,
Yeah. I'm
ready to pounce with
just
9.
happy to be here, boys.
So, heading into Phoenix, our final pick to decide it all. Dan, you get to choose first. Who are you choosing for Phoenix?
Boy, this is tough. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I really got to go big with this one to try to get at least 1 point to get into double digits.
You got to swing for the fences.
I got to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
Give me old 7-time.
7-time champion.
I'm taking Jimmy Johnson.
Woo!
Never a bad bet.
Nope, never a bad bet.
Do we know if he's driving or commentating this race yet?
He
Both.
was driving.
I think he's scheduled to do both still.
He is scheduled to do both, yes.
So when he's out after 10 laps, he'll be swinging up to the
He'll
booth.
be
Yeah.
in the booth by stage 2. Guaranteed.
Yeah. So that leaves me with, I really only have a pick of the final 4, and that would be Ryan Blaney. So I'm officially on the 12 bandwagon for the next week. So go 12.
I wanted to take Byron, but I just don't want to get involved with you guys. So
Yep. Dan did the honorable thing and kind of bowed out for this
I'm
race.
perfectly fine
Unless
with
somehow.
Bro, if I if I win with Jimmy Johnson and the curse, because we talked about it last night, does my curse work when the guy already sucks? Or is it like putting 2 magnets together and reversing the polarity?
You may put your game down, flip it, and
Like,
reverse
does
it.
Jimmy Johnson get a top 5?
To be
I
awesome.
can't even say those words.
I hope that would work.
I
Norm?
mean, your last 2 picks were knocked out of the championship for this week.
True.
Yep.
Well, you picked Logano before that, so you get you recovered. But I'm going to go with old 2-time himself, Joey Logano. I'm just going to go even year Joe, dude.
Yeah.
Smart pick.
I have, like you said, I have either him or Reddick, and I don't know if NASCAR is going to let Reddick win this week.
Yeah, Toyota's been very good on the flat tracks, though. So it could be a good pick. So the way this shakes out, I need to win. If Ryan Blaney wins the championship but does not win the race, it is all over.
So am I a Ross Chastain fan this week?
Yeah, you effectively are.
Yep.
So if Ryan Blaney wins the race, obviously he will win the championship, which is wonderful for him. If he wins the race, I will effectively tie Norman points, and the tiebreaker goes to the most checkered flags, which I have a lot more of.
Yeah, I looked. I only have 1.
I have
think I
like
have-
4.
I think I have 2, maybe.
I think I have 4. So,
Kyle has 2 in the 3 in the playoffs.
yeah, I had strong comeback.
Yeah.
Wait, how did you have 3 in the playoffs? I thought you fell apart in the playoffs.
No, I fell apart.
He won the Glen.
Second half.
He won Vegas, and he won Homestead.
No, but checkered flags is in
No,
winning
sorry.
the race.
Watkins, Kansas, Homestead.
Woof.
Yep. No, I fell apart in July, August, and September.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's where I fell apart. I had a 10 race losing streak. 9 week drought.
I am ready.
Out points to me in the playoffs. I need to limp this one across the line here.
Yep.
I am ready for next year.
Just pin it against the wall wide open. You'll be fine.
Worked for Seabell. No, it didn't.
It doesn't count if you lose possessions.
So it is not over yet, and it could get ugly. So we'll see how it goes. But getting into our newest image segment, if you follow us on the old Instagram, you will see the new image for the scheme of the week. So getting into that, we will talk about Norm's scheme of the week. Norm, what do you got for the folks? What lit your fire, if you will?
There were honestly only a couple outliers this week.
Yeah, not a whole lot of new stuff, per se.
31 stuck out to me.
Okay.
31 was super cool.
What about the 7?
I don't like sponsors when you can't tell who's sponsoring the car.
Freaking gravedigger ass over here.
Yeah, very
primary
Rat Fink-esque.
sponsor of that car was the Oculus Gaming or whatever that OG logo is.
Yep.
But the logo was tiny.
So we're going to look at the 31. Tell the people what the 31 was.
I have no idea what it was.
It's paint services. High
point paint services.
But the colors were really sharp. And
Yeah,
it
that
looked
looked really cool.
track.
It's like a game of Uno.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah, the paint swatches.
Sherwood Williams car, yeah.
I kind of dug Bubba's car this week with all the selfies
Bubba's
and
car
stuff.
was cool.
Yeah, that was
all
cool.
the pictures of Xfinity customers.
I just don't like when the hood is completely separate from something. It just
Agreed.
doesn't flow very well.
I used to do that all the time on like NR 2003, and I've grown out of that, thank God.
That's good. Anything else that...
The one that's going to win it, though,
Yeah.
I have to go all the way to the bottom for this one.
who would that be?
Mr. Daniel Suarez.
All right, I had a problem with this car. I really love it. When he got up, so he got up on the wall yesterday during the race, right?
Yep.
When they cut to the car, I thought it was a Toyota because of the like reverse, like the curvature of those tufts. Like really quick, I was like, "Who's a Toyota?" That just wait, no, that's Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, it did throw off
I
the
think
headlights. I agree with that.
That's one of those like pieces of a paint scheme where on their flat design renders, it looks really cool, but when they put it on the 3D
Real
car,
life, yeah,
it kind of distorted it.
The plaid was sick though.
Like if that line came out and kind of just rode along the top of the fender, it would look cool. But the fact that it kind of turns into the hood,
yeah,
I agree. It kind of looks like horns.
yeah.
But that car was super hot. The colors were super good. The plaid was cool. The numbers weren't chrome.
Good call. They are not.
So yeah, it's super cool paint scheme.
Yeah, good pick.
We already
Good
got next
pick.
week, so I'm sure.
There's a couple options for next week.
That leaked image though. Ooh, if they do
So-
that right, if they do
Which
that
one?
car right,
So Martin Truex Jr. Somebody posted a picture of inside the garage at JGR, and it's a throwback to the DEI 1, which I found out was his very first start.
the 2004.
They ran that. Yeah, it must have been mid 2004.
Yeah.
They ran that black number
Go
with
look
the
in
black
paint scheme
3
chat.
stripes.
Take a gander.
05 is when they ran the maroon car with the
Oh,
yellow
yeah.
stripes and the two-tone cam on the bottom. That looked kind of really out of place with the E stripes.
The car that they're throwing back to was a gorgeous car.
Yeah.
One of those cars that, though, because it was a metallic paint scheme, the black numbers and black stripe kind of get lost in it a little
Yep.
bit. But I remember that. I loved his Bass Pro car in Xfinity with the yellow kind of swoop on the
Yep.
bottom, which I think they've already thrown back to once.
Yep.
But yeah, Martin Truex Jr. throwing back to his first ever Cup start. Official Cup start, because I don't know if that was before or after he filled in for Junior at Martins or New Hampshire.
I don't know.
And then Noah Gragson next week also is running like a red, white, and blue Nitro Circus scheme.
That looks fire too.
That looks super cool. So next week, there'll be some cool schemes out there.
Excellent pick. Love it. Love it. And now we'll get into the Some Things Not segment of our show, in which we call Off Track. What do you got for the folks, Norm?
So I went out for my buddy's birthday this weekend. Did a little bar hopping down in Manchester,
Oh boy,
which I don't do very often.
bad idea.
We went to the Farm Bar and Grill,
Yeah, I know a lot
which
of-
is all the way at the end by
Yep.
Bridge Street.
Yep.
And we left there and we're like, all right, let's go hit some bars, like hang out for the night. It was early Saturday night. I mean, we were bar hopping by like 8 o'clock. So we walked by McGarvey's. I looked in, went, yeah, we probably shouldn't go to McGarvey's. That place is a cesspool now.
It's always been a cesspool. That's why I
it
love
looked
it.
like legitimately dangerous to walk into this place.
Yeah, it's always been like that. That's why
like
I love
feel
it.
like before it used to be like kind of slightly hipstery, but like also like kind of shitheads. Now I feel like it's 100%.
So it's turned around. When I went there when I was like 21, 22, it was just a shitty dive bar.
Right. And that's what it felt like when I first started.
Then it became the cool shitty dive bar to go to. That's when it got all hipstery and bullshitty. And now I feel like after some incidents in the news of like bouncers getting in fights with people, it switched back to its seedy underworld, and that's where it should be.
Yeah, it looked hella sus. So we kept walking. We ended up going to this story is not going to make sense for anybody except for like probably me and Dan. But we went down to Shastine's.
Shaskeen? The Shaskeen. Irish
Bro,
pub.
that was the most hipster bar I've ever been in my entire life.
The cool thing with that, though, was there a band there that night? So the back of the bar,
maybe?
the back of the bar is an actual like concert venue, and they do all sorts of cool shit back there. Honestly, all of the like hardcore kids I know hang out there. That would be where John Stairs would go.
Okay. When I was in there, it was all like Portland fake lumberjack people. Like beard flannels and Kyle's boots he's wearing. But
I'm still wearing my boots from work.
Catching strays left
we
and
only
right.
we only went there for like one beer, and then we were like, this ain't it, bro.
Yeah.
And we ended up going down to Strange Brew, which is such a shithole.
They have great food, though.
I had no hope in that place, but we ended up at Bonfire, which I don't think I've ever been to before.
It's the fake country bar.
Super cool bar though. Little fun fact: there's like a truck bed with a table in it.
Yes.
It's an S10.
Is it?
I walked by it and I was like, I bet I can figure out what this is from the taillights. And I looked at it, wait a minute. And I walked to the side, and it's literally like a 99 S10 bed with my stock wheels underneath it. I was like, I nudged my buddy. I was like, yeah, I own an S10 too.
Yeah, they opened that place a couple years ago to try to cash in on the all the kids that want to pretend they're from Tennessee.
Right.
It's like a fake
yeah,
country
there
bar.
was a bunch of those. It was also, dude, filled to the rafters with like 50-year-old people. I guess there was like a Duran Duran concert in Manchester.
Hell yeah.
So like,
Sounds like a good time.
I didn't know about that. I would have
It
gone.
was all everybody's parents everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we go into the back room at Bonfire and they had a live band, and the band was actually wicked good. I guess the dude, I wish I looked up his name, has like opened for Jason Aldean before and shit. So like the dude was like legit.
Yeah.
Cute girl singing with them. She was wicked good, like insanely good at like country songs and stuff like that. But it's all like old folks, like almost like there was these like two like 50-year-old people next to us that definitely thought they were still 25.
Oh, my favorite.
That were like all over everybody there. And, we met this guy at so-and-so when he opened for so-and-so, and we became friends. And it was just like, oh, God, like, I kind of want to enjoy this music, but these people are annoying the shit out of me. But the highlight of the night was there was, like, a group of, like, wannabe Morgan Wallens that came in.
Oh, my favorite.
Like, just a bunch of bros in, like, white thermal shirts, whatever you want to call those, with, like, black vests on, like puffy vests. Every single one of them had the dirtiest little Cole Custer mustache.
The lip.
Nice.
And they were just standing behind us, and one of the kids kept putting his phone up. And apparently he was like writing shit on his phone to the lead singer girl.
I've seen people do that at
who
concerts.
she was super hot, but she was definitely like barely 21. She like looked super young. I was like, dude, this is a little creepy.
Yeah.
Like you're like all over this chick. And he kept going up to her, like trying to get her to look at him. And like, we're in a dive bar band. So we're like, there's like a bar stool between us and the stage.
Yeah.
And like at the final thing he did was he like pulled up the contacts on his phone and tried to hand them to her on stage.
Buddy, that ain't gonna work.
And she immediately shuts him down, and she looks super uncomfortable. Turns out like the lead singer dude's like her uncle or something. So that dude was like mad dogging this kid as he's like singing like Sweet Home Alabama. And these kids like just like threw a temper tantrum. Like, all right, fuck this place, we're out. They all dropped their beers on the ground and just like turned around and walked out.
So they're scumbags.
Yeah, I was like, you guys are the biggest fucking losers I've ever seen in my life. But we hung out there for a few hours. The music was super cool. The bar was kind of cool. Cheap beers.
Yep.
And that was pretty much it. I don't really bar hop anymore, so I figured that was some
Nice.
fun.
It has been a minute since I've done the old Manchester bar. It's going to take a lot for someone to get me to go out. But
Yeah.
Then I go out and I'm like, oh, you know what? That sounds fun. And then we go to like 2 bars and I'm like, this
Well,
isn't
it
fun
sucks
anymore.
because like Murphy's,
Yeah.
which was like used to be like the number one spot, was always the biggest, had a downstairs
They had
concert
outside
venue
in the
had a
summer.
big outside area, super easy to get to. It's like right next to Market Basket where everybody parks. I guess that place got like canceled. So you don't like no one goes to Murphy's anymore. It's still open, but I guess like the owner was doing some shady shit.
I
Everyone
noticed it
found out
years
about
ago.
it.
Years ago, when I was playing hockey on Friday nights, I would go by there at like 11 o'clock after hockey, 11 o'clock, 11:30, and like the chairs would already be up on the tables, and I'm like, that's not good.
That used to be like we would go there first.
That was the night
Say
starter.
we go out at like 9.
That was the starter.
You'd go there first, and it would get so full, so fast with people that you would leave, and you would now go to dive bars.
Yeah.
Because this place was the number one spot, and it would fill up so fast. Inside and outside was full. And I guess like it's still there, but no one goes there anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, at least we don't need to walk all the way down there.
Yeah, because it is kind of off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Dan, do you have anything for anyone that's not the two of you at this table?
Oh, Maddie's getting.
I have no idea what anything just happened.
We did.
All right, but somebody will comment bar recommendations in Boston, and Kyle will talk about it for 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's
Tell
not,
them to go to
that's not a
Cheers.
question.
Tell them to go to
Cheers, where everyone knows your name. Just keep
They
going
tore
back.
that bitch down, and they didn't know my name there.
No, the original Cheers is still there. The
Isn't it just
satellite
like a
one is gone.
store, though?
No,
there's a bar.
there was two. There was one in Quincy Market or Faneuil Hall that was like the touristy one, but then there's the original, which is still there.
No, Kyle will just tell them to go to Margaritaville, the closest
See,
one.
I went
Yeah,
for-
don't go to
I
that
went for one in
Margaritaville.
Faneuil
Is there
Hall.
one in Faneuil Hall?
Yeah, it's not good.
Is it bad?
It's really bad.
Oh, there's a bar on Main Street that is straight up Margaritaville. And we walked by it, and they were playing fucking Dad Rock, Boat Yacht Rock, or whatever the fuck you guys call it.
I would have
man.
never left.
And there were freaking toucan Sams everywhere and palm trees.
Hell yeah.
And like we walked by and everyone kind of looked, and I was like, nah, dude, fucking Jimmy Buffett's dead. Move it along.
No.
I said it for Kyle.
Dan, what do you got?
Kyle was here.
Not a whole lot. Obviously, since the last time we spoke, I have traveled back to this side of the world.
Yes.
I have gone through about 7 time changes in the last 3 weeks. I'm fucking done with all of that.
Happy to be home.
So Boston to Italy, 1 time change. Get on the boat, Italy to Greece, time change. Come back to Italy, time change. We were there when their version of daylight savings ends, time change.
Oh, no.
Go from Italy back to Boston, time change, and then we lose an hour this weekend. I'm like, dude, Saturday morning this week, I was staring at the ceiling at, I think, 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, why am I awake?
Norm, did you ever think you would sit next to a time traveler?
Dude,
I felt like a time traveler yesterday because I didn't know daylight savings was happening.
Over it.
I don't keep up with that news.
Yeah, I mean, since, what was that, last Monday, did another day in Rome, went to Vatican City, which was fucking sick. Like, not a
wild.
religious person at all, but that was wild.
Oh, just
Did
the
you feel
architecture
his
alone.
presence?
Yeah. I was like, which window's the Pope? We were talking. He's like, oh, yeah, that's the window that the Pope pops out. I'm like, do you ever just like pop out on a random Tuesday? Like, hey!
Was his car there with like the
I
freaking
wish it
hamster
was.
wheel on the back
I
of it?
wish it was.
Just does the Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello.
Yeah, we flew
10
home.
more weeks of winter. Hey, do you get to make that decision?
Did the Pope see his shadow
I'm
this
the
year?
voice of God. I make whatever decision I want.
Lent comes early this year.
Yeah, flew home. Honestly, could not believe. So on the way there and on the way home, smoothest ever like customs, TSA, whatever experience. Like when we went a couple years ago, we went to Scotland. When we got back to Logan, we had to wait like an hour and a half for our bags to finally pop out.
Oh, God.
We were out of Logan 20 minutes after we got off the plane.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was awesome.
That's great.
And we even landed like an hour early, so we beat the traffic too, which was
Dude, that's awesome.
We're
Did you
supposed-
park a car at the
no.
airport?
We got picked up by a family friend, but we were supposed to land at like 2 o'clock. So I'm thinking by the time we get out of there, it's going to be 3. We're not going to get home till 7.
Yeah.
But we literally pulled out of Logan at like 1:30.
Mint.
It was sick. But yeah, aside from that, it's just been getting readjusted back to the real world after being on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Went back to work the next day. Worked Thursday.
How do I
Friday.
do this again?
It's just, yeah, kind of. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, although I'm at Norm's place of work and there is nothing for me to do there, so I've spent the last 3 days doing nothing. Which
Norm, you going to let him do that?
Same.
Which sounds well. That sounds great, but that's how you make a day fucking drag.
Yeah.
I did nothing today. I did like,
Yeah, that takes forever.
and the guy that I'm working for refuses to like admit that there's nothing to do, so I can get released to a different job site. He's like, "Oh no, I'll find something for you," and then he never does. And I'm like, I'm standing here looking at my
Yeah,
phone
it just
all day.
drags.
It sucks.
I was actually cranking at work today. My day went by so fast.
Crank that hog.
No, I didn't have time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, shit. This weekend again.
You got
it's
your
just
car
been-
back.
Yes, I got the GTI back. Still kind of broken. Had a little misfire on the way here that scared me for a minute. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if I got a bum injector or something, but
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's weird.
I saw that out front this morning. I was like, oh, Dan got his car back.
Yeah, we picked it up the night we got home.
Hammer down. It'll just clear it out.
It's kind well,
The old Italian tune-up.
that's when it has the problems. Is if I beat the crap out of it, then it's like, I don't know, something's going on there. So
Could just need a coil pack.
it's got new ones. Put new ones in it.
Could be a fuel pump.
So maybe
issue.
I'll put the old ones back in it and see if those fix it. Because the guy I had it at my buddy's shop for the last couple of weeks. He's been super busy. Hasn't
Plugs
had time.
and packs?
I did plugs and packs.
plugs and packs.
And then
plugs and
he
plugs
messed
and
with
packs.
the plugs, and he actually was getting the same misfire I was getting, and then he moved the plugs around, and the misfire moved. So he put new plugs in it again, and it was better. He's like, I've been driving it for 4 days. It's fine. He also took the short shifter out because it was popping out of gear. And he's like, I've never seen this. I have no idea what kind of Amazon junk this is. That's probably what your problem was. I was like, okay. But yeah, it just had a little hiccup on the way here, and it scared me a little bit. But it was fine the rest of the ride down, so whatever. We'll deal with that later. But yeah, I mean, fucking played golf on Saturday for the first time in a month, and it was way colder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was pretty chilly.
Bet on
Yeah,
shorts.
this weekend was cold.
I bet on shorts, and I gave Steph shit. I was like, you're like, we're in leggings? Come on. 20 minutes into it, I was like, I regret the shorts.
Yep.
I'm a hemisphere guy. As long as like one is covered, I'm good. And it was getting to the point by like 3:30 that the sweatshirt was not good enough. I was getting fucking cold.
Yep.
Yeah, I was outside a lot this weekend, and it was 2 sweatshirt weather.
Yeah.
Most
And
of the
then
time I was outside.
it was 20.
Two sweat. You guys got two hoods. Do you wear one backwards and one forward so you can
No.
clamshell your head?
No, I have my little Wrangler one that's back here. It has a really thin hood.
Oh, okay.
And my Carhartt sweatshirt has
Tuck the hoodie into the hood.
No, I overlap.
Definitely a dose of reality, though, when I woke up for work this morning and it was 25
Dude,
degrees
it was
out.
brick this morning.
It was cold. When I
I
went
missed
to
it. It legit snowed last week.
I saw that, yeah. Well, I went to lunch at 10:30 this morning, and I walked, because the building is now heated. They've actually put heat in that building, the new part of your
Yeah, I
building.
got a sneak peek in there. It looks almost done.
It's getting there. And I walked outside expecting it to be better out, and I was like, it's not better. It's
No.
still fucking cold out at 10:30 in the morning. But yeah, it's just been getting back into normalcy, getting the sleep schedule figured out, getting everything sorted. I mean, like that first grocery shop after being gone for 2 weeks is like, what do we need? Everything.
Yeah.
So
Great transition on the sleep thing because I don't get any because we have a new puppy. So, it's every couple hours, got to pee.
she is unbelievably adorable.
She is
I
the
can't
cutest thing.
stop. Like every time
Is
you
she
and
going to be at
Steph,
the wedding?
No, we can't bring them, unfortunately, because the
some bullshit.
food service is too
every
close to the
time
venue.
you and Steph post a picture of her, I die a little inside, like of happiness.
Oh,
Like, I'm like, she's so cute.
She is very cute. We're having a rough go. Her brother is not adjusting as well as we had hoped, as fast as we had hoped.
He'll get there.
But he'll get there. It'll take time. We got
You need to
there's
octagon him, dude. Put him in the ring.
there's good hours and bad hours, good days and bad days. So we're getting there one step at a time. But just puppy stuff and wedding prep because that is this upcoming Sunday. So the next time you hear my voice on this show, I will be a married man.
Yeah, some asshole decided to schedule his wedding the same weekend as championship.
No, blame the Olympics, not me.
I'm still gonna blame you.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah.
That's-
Also had a friend of ours sold his restaurant
I saw
slash
you
bar.
guys down there.
Sold off the business, not closing because of choice. Not closing because of no choice. Closing because of choice because he sold it.
Cashed
So,
out.
Good for him. So they had kind of like a going away final 2 nights. So we got over there on Saturday night and had a little mom and dad time, which was nice.
I got worried
away
'cause
from the
I
pups
thought-
for like an hour and a half. But
I
it was
saw
great.
Connor's post, and I thought it was like his dad's bar was closing, and I was like, oh, what? Huh?
No, it was a friend of ours, Matt.
Yeah.
So I got over there for the final night and had a couple sodas and hung out for a little bit. So yeah, that's about
You're
it.
very responsible that night. You had a story up of the dogs like at 10 o'clock. I was like, Kyle's being a good boy tonight.
Oh, we were home early.
Yeah.
Very early. We went for
married
like
couple, dude.
an hour and a half at best. Well, I mean, we can't be away from the dog too long, 'cause she's so little. So
Yeah.
quick hitter. But yeah, that's that. Shall we?
Let's rip it.
Let's do it.
Breaking news.
The news.
News. Not a ton of groundbreaking news from this week, but we do have a couple things. More of an update on the NASCAR side because the injunction hearing was today. So this is when the teams will be arguing to receive that injunction to run as chartered teams while the litigation is underway. The team's request for the early discovery during the week was denied. Effectively, what the court said is their request was too broad and they didn't give enough time to produce the documents. I mean, that request was like Wednesday and then the hearing was today. So like Nothing too crazy there. Some people were going nuts on the internet saying, "Oh, they're getting denied, they're getting beat up." It's like a 4-day window to look at some extra documents to make additional arguments. So not that big of a deal. But what kind of a bigger part of that is 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are now arguing that they need the injunction no matter what, despite the original saying we will run as open teams, because apparently on the open team agreement, there is still a clause in there saying that you can't sue NASCAR. So I think that helps their argument because they can't. Or they're completely screwed and they can't run at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff was breaking as we were starting to record because I don't know if anyone listened to any of the shows today. I know the Teardown brought it up, but they were basically every NASCAR media person went to this today and they were not allowed to bring their phones in. So Twitter went silent for a couple hours here. And then obviously they all got out and it was a mad dash to flood the internet with everything that happened. So I haven't even had a chance to sift through a lot of it.
Yeah.
But it is a lot.
Yeah.
I know the average Joe was posting in Discord. I mean, he kind of flooded us with a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I'm not even going to get started. They apparently NASCAR's attorneys did not talk, but what's his name? Kessler, he did. He had some comments, but MJ was there, Denny was there, the whole freaking crew was there. So
yeah. So we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see. Following up on our conversation that Brett Holmes Racing was closing, Hettinger Racing acquired essentially all of their assets and did run a truck at Martinsville with Brett Moffitt behind the wheel, which went okay until it didn't.
Taken out as an innocent bystander.
Yep,
pretty much. Also following up on our conversations from last week, we talked about Connor Jones and his hissy fit last week, I should say.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, last week.
Last week, yep. And NASCAR had came out during this week, and they suspended him for 1 week, and Jody Sauter stepped in his place.
Got pee-pee whacked.
Yeah, and I think that needed to happen.
Completely doable after the temper tantrum on the radio and basically admitting what you did.
Yeah, and like Norm said, the hit wasn't necessarily egregious. Mm-hmm. It was the absolute meltdown on the radio,
right?
That just
and I think
showed his immaturity.
Well, yeah, and I think this is along very similar lines to what was it? Last year when Denny goes on his podcast and admits to wrecking Chastain. And I know his penalty was only, points and money?
Yeah.
But I think it needs to be more severe in the truck series to send a message that we don't put up with this shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how the purses get bigger as you go into the Cup Series? I think the opposite needs to happen with penalties. I think the penalties need to get worse if you're in a lower series to send for shit like this to send a message.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think them parking Denny Hamlin for a week sends a strong message to the lower series as well.
Also true. Yes.
Like, damn, if they're willing to fucking park him, what are they going to do to me?
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think that was 100% deserved.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I don't think it was very severe. I mean, there's no monetary fine. It was like, you sitting out for a week. I think it was a message more than anything.
Yeah, monetary fines, I mean, they hit so much harder in the truck series. Mm-hmm. They hit hard in the Xfinity series. Monetary fines are laughable in the Cup series.
Usually.
But for the truck guys, it's going to be hard to even hit this team with $50,000.
Yeah.
Because even as the biggest truck team, $50,000 is probably 2 trucks racing one weekend for them. So I understand the avoiding monetary fines, and I appreciate them just, hey, this kid acted out of line. We're not going to punish the team, but he needs to be punished.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of punishment, great segue. Front Row Motorsports in the news because the 38 truck was penalized over this past week for an unsecure ballast.
I didn't even see that.
Yep. Crew chief gets a 1-race vacation, and the 38 team gets docked 10 points.
I never even saw that.
Yep.
So they didn't just immediately disqualify him?
No. Unsecure ballast is a post-race penalty.
Mm-hmm. Some bull, dude.
I think if you lose it during the race, that's worse. Like when it happened to Denny a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I was more comparing it to Bowman.
Yep. And in other penalty news, in the real world penalty, Mr. Kurt Busch.
Oh, real life penalties.
Real life penalties. Hearing and says, whatever. was heard this past week, and it came out that his guilty plea to the DWI charge, he gets a 12-month supervised probation and 24 hours of community service.
Yep, I saw his statement basically saying, "Oopsie, my bad, won't do it again. Sorry."
Sorry. Yeah, so that's our boy Kurt. Do better. And the last bit of news I got is some crew chief updates that we saw come out this past week. Two of which we saw the Wood Brothers and 2311, which was a little bit more surprising. Wood Brothers announced that Miles Stanley will be crew chiefing the 21 for Mr. Josh Berry next season. And 2311 came out and said that Booty Barker will not be the crew chief for next year. He will be moving into a different role still with the team. Charles Deneke will be stepping in as crew chief for Bubba Wallace.
Oh, I didn't see they announced that crew chief.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
Nice.
They did. It was like same announcement, basically.
It sucks. Obviously, everybody loves Booty.
Yeah.
And Booty, I think, needs to be on the box. Sorry, I just said all that. That sounds funny. But the rumor is he will be the crew chief on the third car, whether they are
I thought I read that he was going to be like in an executive kind of role.
No, I think what I heard was he was just switching to the new car. But with that team, who knows? Because are they even going to be allowed to have a third car next year?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to say. I feel like he's one of those guys, like we see like guys like Chad Knaus, Ray Everham, those kind of guys leave the box and go to higher up jobs.
Yep.
I feel like Booty he kind of rubs me as just like he wants to be an on the road guy.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, they could do anything with him. He's awesome as long as he's not leaving the team and not leaving the sport.
Yep.
It's good news for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And obviously, there was a little lull with Bubba's performance this year, missing the playoffs. Meanwhile, your teammate made it to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bubba's had a good season. I think he's like legitimately like 12th or 14th overall in points. It's not like he's had a horrible season, but you need to do something to try to step that performance up because you are a playoff capable team.
Yep.
So missing the playoffs, something's got to change. Unfortunately, it's Booty, but hopefully it works out great, and hopefully he ends up on like the 67 with Herbst or whatever that third car ends up being.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I think sometimes change is just necessary.
Yeah.
So we'll see how things shake out. But I mean, Deneke's had a obviously great season despite some things that we'll talk about in the truck series. But if you don't know who he is crew chiefing currently for the 19 McNally Hilgeman Racing Christian Eckes' car.
The plow truck?
Plow truck, that
Gotcha.
one. Yeah.
I mean, the truck was lights out fast, so that's a good sign.
Yeah. Very fast plow truck.
Just
Yes.
no brakes, unfortunately.
No, all gas, no brakes.
No brakes.
Cool. That's all I really have for notable news bits. You guys got anything else you want to add, or shall we just get into our chats?
No, I will say, though, the rumors of Hemrick going to the 19 truck, that just took a little wind out of my sails. Now learning that they're losing the crew chief, that's probably the main reason why that truck's fast.
Probably.
So, like, there were rumors earlier in the season that, like, Corey LaJoy could go to the 19 truck, and now I think Hemrick's the favorite for that truck, and everyone
That's
looks
the
at
current
that.
rumor, yeah.
Yeah, everyone looks at that as, like, it's a lights-out fast truck. That's a great ride for anybody that wants to kind of reignite their career, and now they're losing their crew chief.
Yeah.
And we saw with, like, the 15 Xfinity car, you start shaking things up, and all of a sudden the team kind of just starts to crumble. In the 19 truck, are they losing their secret weapon with losing the crew chief?
Yeah. We'll definitely find out.
Massive promotion for that guy, though, for Deneke. I mean, to go
absolutely
from a one truck team to you're now going to a three cup car team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, huge for him. Hopefully it works out for Bubba.
Yeah.
And Freddie Kraft was also making some, like, weird Twitter posts this week, like kind of ominous. So I'm curious to listen to DBC because he said he's announcing his 2025 plans, which normally would seem like they were already set in stone. So I will be curious to listen to DBC this week to see what he meant by that.
Yeah. Well, it just posted, so we'll see.
He's been with Bubba for 20 years. So if he was announcing that he was leaving the 23 car, that would be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Well, we'll see. We shall see. Shall we get into the Martinsville weekend?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Slap that button.
Yeah, let's hit it.
There was lots of hitting this weekend in Martinsville, but we will kick things off with the Craftsman Truck Series Zip Buy Now, Pay Later 200. Dan's favorite name.
Not a great name.
Zip Buy Now, Pay Later.
Not the worst.
not the worst, but not the best.
Definitely not great. So Truck Series. I mean, it was the Christian Eckes show. Let's be real.
Yeah, we had 2 races that were pretty much runaways with one guy, and then we had some other things going on.
Yeah. I mean, Eckes stole the show. Well, let's be real. Like he absolutely dominated this race. He definitely deserved to win this race, but some of the actions towards the end, don't agree with at all.
And how many times have we watched him this year just absolutely run away with races? Is it him and Heim?
Constantly.
Him and Heim are the 2 that it's like, when they win,
Heim
it's
time.
not a little bit. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into what he did at the end of this race, obviously, as we're talking about it, but he didn't have to do any of that because he didn't have to win this race at all.
Nope.
That's kind of where I think a lot of frustration comes from, with teams and fans and other drivers and whatnot is obviously he wanted to win this race. Everyone wants to win every race.
Especially
you never know when your last race is going to happen.
Especially a race that you dominate.
Right.
And then with 20 to go, all of a sudden someone gets by you. You kind of look at it as like, this is my race.
Yeah.
Like, you're not taking this from me. But you got to look a little big picture there.
Exactly. And that's a great segue. That's what I was going to say. It's like, you got to look big picture. I mean, yeah, you dominated the race. It is your race to win. It should be in theory. But, how many people have lost on the last lap pass after getting dominated or dominating the whole race? Mm-hmm. It happens. You got to look forward to what's next week. Mm-hmm. You got to not make enemies. You don't want to go into the final race of the year racing for a championship after just pissing off multiple people. And what did he do?
Pissed off multiple people.
And who did he piss off?
Ben Rhodes and was it which Gray? Tanner Gray?
Taylor.
I'd never remember which one's which. So
yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's right. Taylor Gray's in the other incident. Or Tanner Gray's in
Tanner's in the other one.
Tanner is in the other incident.
Yeah. So talk about the other one, then we'll get to the end. We'll just talk about the end.
Yeah, I mean, what was a stage? I forget what it was. It was like stage 2. I don't really know what led up to it, but you had Dean Thompson and Tanner Gray, both Tricon teammates. Tanner's in front of Dean Thompson. They go into turn 3, and Dean Thompson essentially just didn't hit the brakes.
Yep.
He drove into the back. I mean,
well, one went into the turn. The other one just kept driving through the turn.
Yeah, I don't know what preceded this. Obviously, FS1 with its stellar coverage didn't show us anything.
No.
And I never heard anything about it. Segue FS1, just the Fox coverage of the trucks is fucking horrendous. We could do a better job with like a camcorder and
give us the power.
Literally, if we had a GoPro and a mic, we could do better. Yeah. It's so bad. But
yeah, I understand that they probably have a skeleton crew there, but the cameras are going to be set up for the weekend. Like, set up the cameras and just have them remote controlled.
Oh, it's like Norm said. It's a half-mile track. Just set up a camera on the spotter stand that shows the whole track. You'll never miss anything.
If you want the truck series to be back, if we want Truck Night in America to be back, put Moon Car in charge of the broadcast.
100%.
You know how freaking big the truck series would be?
Huge. So they go into turn 3, and Dean Thompson, again, we have no idea what led up to this, if they had been battling, if they had been whatever. I don't know. Dean Thompson just absolutely buries Tanner Gray, takes Brett Moffitt with him. They both go up the track. Gray smacks the wall. Moffitt backs into the fence.
Day's done.
I, again, still don't know what happened. We heard rumblings from someone we know that has some insider info that there was a bit of a kerfuffle after the race. Apparently, Tanner went into the Tricon's hauler, in the lounge, to go confront Dean. Apparently, Dean also likes to moonlight as a man of the octagon, and Tanner instantly regretted his decision. According to our source, there was a video. We haven't seen the video. Apparently, Tanner ended up on the ground quickly with a bloody face.
Yep.
In the Tricon hauler. This is all rumor.
It was probably Matt Crafton hiding behind a tire stack.
Probably. we cannot confirm this, but this is what we were told by someone who has seen the video.
Yep.
So take that with what you will. But apparently Tanner got knocked out twice that night.
Yep.
He got knocked out twice in the same evening.
Yep. And that's what happens at the end of the season when lots on the line. So,
and that's what you get. Like you just said, you come to Martinsville, and this is why I love Martinsville in this spot. Because it's not even just the guys going for the championship or even the win of the race. Like, if you've got that guy, let's say me and Kyle have had run-ins all season, and I see you in front of me with 10 to go at Martinsville. We got nothing to play for. We're in 28th and 29th. Buddy, you're going for a ride.
Yeah.
I'm shipping your ass.
In a place where, like, for the most part, you're probably not going to get hurt. You know, it's not like you're dumping someone on a super speedway or whatever. Like, this is where stuff is settled.
Like I said, especially in those back of the pack guys that they're always racing around each other. They've probably had run-ins all season.
Oh, yeah.
You're not really racing for anything. If you see that bumper of that guy that's pissed you off all season, it's time to get a little make you feel good going to sleep that night. Yeah. And I bet you Dean Thompson felt really good twice that night because then he got him again.
Yeah, probably. For a race that Eckes really dominated for the most part, it was a banging race. Like, it was very entertaining to watch.
The trucks at Martinsville are phenomenal, and this is, again, why I think the trucks need to go back to a schedule like when they started.
Yeah.
I want to see the trucks at Stafford and South Boston and Martinsville and, okay, fine. Take them to Daytona to start the season. Cool. Take them to Phoenix to end the season. Cool. But I think the trucks belong at short tracks.
Yeah. I agree.
It gives you that. The trucks are the gritty series,
and road courses, because I think they're
also true.
Put on a banging show at road courses.
And I think just doing that, it's going to invite more Cup guys and Xfinity guys to drop down to the truck series.
Yep.
Because why is Kyle Larson going to go race a truck race at Charlotte?
Yeah.
Like, what's that going to do for him?
Nothing.
But they open up a truck race at freaking Stafford or Lucas Oil or something like that, and they're just like, all of a sudden, it's like, hey, this is
Thompson.
IRP.
I would
IRP's
love,
a cool one.
Yeah,
they just started going back to that.
Like Thompson. I said, South Boston. I mean, there's Hickory.
Thompson, Connecticut.
You start racing the trucks at tracks like that. These short track guys in the Cup Series, Bubba Wallace, Corey LaJoy, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, these guys are all going to want to go race.
And you're also going to get guys that are locals into like one-time rides. They're going to hire the guy that's
like Bubba Pollard this weekend,
the modified track champion,
who had a good run, by the way.
Yeah,
until he had some car issues.
The modified track champion at Stafford is probably going to hop in a car, and someone will throw him in a truck for the race.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
That's what it needs to go back to. I think the Truck Series lost its identity when they started basically following the cut. Now, granted, I love watching him at Pocono. I love seeing him. Like, we're going to see him in New Hampshire this year. Cool. Next year, whatever.
Back. Let's go.
But I just think they need to get back to what they were.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and especially because they only semi-follow the Cup schedule, which makes it even more confusing, and I feel like people don't know whether it's there or not, because sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not there, and it's like, it's too confusing. So they should almost have like their own thing.
I agree.
Right, and I think it'll also make the truck racing more enjoyable to watch. You'd want to watch it more because we go to a track like Homestead last weekend. There's 3 races at Homestead. I'm not going to watch the truck race. I don't need to. If I want to watch another Homestead race, I'll watch the Xfinity race.
I think the trucks.
Watch the Cup race.
You find out.
Well, you missed a good show.
Right, you send the trucks somewhere else. If okay, this is a different race. Than
if I tune in, if I'm sitting there on a Friday night and I see, the trucks are at again like South Boston tonight. Sick. I'll watch that. And then the trucks have always put on good short track shows.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, getting into the end of this race, Christian Eckes definitely made no friends, used up Ben Rhodes, used up Taylor Gray.
Well, Taylor Gray was on fresh tires, and he was rolling through the field in the last run there. They had a restart. Taylor
had a bunch of restarts at the end.
Had a bunch of restarts at the end. Taylor ends up he starts on the outside. He gets around Eckes on the restart, and he's in a must-win. Taylor is in a must-win situation. Eckes is not. He's not even close. Like, he's fine. He could finish 5th and still be fine. Taylor was in a must-win, so he now gets the lead. They get into the next corner. Eckes gives him a bump and run. Not too egregious. Gets next to him. They get off the corner. They go side by side into the next corner. I think it was 1 and 2. Eckes just runs him to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like, just drives straight up the track, almost puts him in the fence. Or am I thinking of the Ben Rhodes one? That's the Ben Rhodes one.
I'm thinking of Ben Rhodes.
Sorry, that's the Ben Rhodes one.
Taylor Gray one.
He just shipped him.
Taylor Gray caught him the last run.
Yeah.
Like, it was a 1 or 2 lap.
Sorry, I got my
2-lap run, and he catches him from what we saw on the replay, which was Fox, so it's probably inaccurate. Catches him and starts putting the bumper to him right as the caution comes out.
Yes.
So I think in Eckes' eyes, he goes, all right, he opened the door. He's going to use the bumper. I'll use the bumper. In the second, Taylor Gray cleared him on the next restart, which was a clean pass, like you just said. He just ships him into the marbles.
I mean, he ends up going from the bottom to like the 3rd and a half lane before he gathered the truck up. he ends up reblending, I think, barely in the top 10. Yeah, like he was like 7th or 8th.
And I'm sure if you're listening to this, you've seen all the replays of the argument after the fact, and that was really Taylor Gray's argument was, I passed you cleanly, and then you shipped me into the fence.
Yeah. And then basically
he has every right to be pissed.
And I actually was listening to, I think it was Denny's show on the way down here because it was the only one that was out. And one of the things that he said in the argument was, I could have wrecked you like 3 times, but I passed you clean. And Eckes' response was, maybe you should have.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what the fuck is that?
That's what I hate about what the lower series are becoming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we talked about it before. They promote the guys who don't deserve it, like Carson Hocevar.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carson,
although he's had a very good year.
Yeah, but he's
a weapon.
He builds this reputation of just wrecking guys and bringing out cautions and all this and that. And what do? They ship him right to the Cup Series. And guess what? He's doing pretty good in the Cup Series. So now everyone in the Truck Series is going to go, okay, if I start punting people and winning races and doing that and gaining attention, I'll have a ride in the Cup Series.
Yeah, so year. He ships Taylor Gray. Then Ben Rhodes gets around him. Again, clean pass. And that was the one where he gives him a bump and run in one corner, gets next to him. And then the next corner, doesn't even try to turn. Like, Eckes ends up in the 2.5 lane.
Rhodes.
And no, but he pushes Rhodes up almost into the fence and then drives away from him. And it's like, dude, what was that?
Yeah, we were just watching the replay before we hit record to remind ourselves and such. And Norm just goes, oh, so he really is a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, then he gets, and then end of the race. I could watch Taylor just march down that pit road.
Dude, talk about the most badass photo. Did you see that?
The picture?
Oh my God. Mixtape dropping soon.
Tricon posts a picture that says the whole garage is behind us, and it's just a picture from I don't know, maybe 50 feet in front of him, and it's looking down pit road right at him, and it's just people following him. It was a sick picture.
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for Taylor Gray, the way he handled that. He marched his ass over there, just yelled at him, voiced his displeasure, and then left.
My favorite
he didn't slap him like a little bitch?
Yeah.
No, we'll get to that.
My favorite part of the whole thing was the NASCAR security guy walking with him, trying to get him. He's like, cool off. Just think about this. Just cool off. And Taylor's just like, just want to talk to him. Just want to talk to him. And I saw on Twitter 10 times the Peter Griffin. I'm just going to talk to him. I'm just going to talk to him. I'm just going to shoot him. I'm just going to shoot him. It was so good. And I also shouts to, I don't remember who it was, but the pit road reporter that was walking with him, and she tries to ask him a question, and he just kind of moves the mic away from his face. And then after the argument, he's like, okay, I'll talk to you now.
He was very respectful overall for someone that would have been irate. I would have been throwing stuff.
He showed his displeasure on the track before they even got to pit road.
Yeah.
He buried him.
And he had every right to.
He had every right to be pissed.
So Eckes now goes into this championship having to stay out of the way of some people that do not like him. I think Ben Rhodes is probably fine. He's probably like, yeah, whatever, because he's not racing for it. But the fact that Taylor Gray needed the win and Eckes didn't.
I heard this on multiple things today. If you are Christian Eckes, I feel like you want Taylor to win that race because that knocks Majeski out.
Yep.
Now you're going to a short track-ish. Guess where Majeski's really good at?
Yeah.
Short tracks. I would rather have Taylor Gray in the Final Four than Ty Majeski.
100%. 100% agree with that.
I know that's some Monday morning quarterback. You're probably not thinking about that in the moment.
He had 20 laps to think about that.
Yeah. Or someone should have come over the radio like they did in the Cup Series and let him know the point situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Buddy, let him win. That way we don't have to deal with the 99 or whatever number. 98.
Yep.
We don't have to deal with the 98. That's one less bullet we got to dodge going to a short track.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see how it shakes out.
I don't think the 17, I don't think Gray's going to do anything egregious.
I think he's going to make his day real difficult.
If there comes a point where Eckes has to get around Taylor Gray,
he's not.
He is going to make that truck 7 trucks wide.
100%.
It is going to be a miserable experience for Christian Eckes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, Christian Eckes could also just go there, lead every lap, and win running away. Who knows?
Right.
So we shall see.
But you make enemies, especially with. Well, we'll see how it shakes out.
We saw it last year at Phoenix in the Truck Series.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of shit at the
with Corey Heim.
Yes, that's right. So we got Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, and Corey Heim headed to Phoenix. battling for the Truck Series championship.
Go Grant.
I'm with you there.
I kind of I've grown from like the who the hell is this guy in our campsite to, he's a likable dude.
He is. He really is.
Just a likable kid.
And the new team, and that'd be a great story.
It would be.
So
yeah.
I think I'm on the
Grant
finger train.
I met him once.
I would do Grant or Majeski because I feel like Heim and Eckes are just too predictable. Like, I want the weird one. Give me the.
That's why I'm going with the veteran with the new team.
Yeah.
That's a great feel-good story.
Yep, agreed.
But all right, we'll keep it digging here. We'll go to the National Debt Relief 250 Xfinity race on Saturday.
Better name.
Not bad.
Much more palatable race name.
I think overall, it was a great race. I mean, this was
Almirola show.
It was very much the same as the truck race in the sense that it was an entertaining race. I enjoyed watching every single bit of it. There was similar bumping and beating and pissed off people at the end, despite it being the Eric Almirola show for the most part.
Won both stages, won the race going away.
Yeah, he won that race with the elbows up. That's for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
He was tough.
I was excited at the end. I kind of wanted to see Sammy Smith run him down, and he was. And then it seemed like I think it was the tires equalized, and he got to within half a second and just couldn't get any closer to him. And Almirola had such a strong car that you're not getting him.
Yeah, I mean it's leading the points going into the Final Four.
I love at the end Almirola's doing his burnout, and they're like, it's Eric Almirola's third win of the season, and then you look at the car and it's got win stickers almost to the rear spoiler.
Yeah,
down the C pillar.
How many wins does that car have now? 7.
It was like 7 or 8. Yeah.
Do we know who's running that next weekend?
Almirola. I think he's doing it all for the Owners' Championship. I think he's been in it. Hold on. Bob just released the entry list. I will check. Hold, please.
Yeah.
Put Ryan Truex in it, win the championship.
Norm, talk about the kerfuffle with your boy.
Dude, there was no kerfuffle, dude.
Well, set the stage of what happened while
mosquito sting
take
on
a quick
the chin
break.
like a man.
Almirola is in that car next week.
Okay. So pretty much Cole Custer and Chandler Smith have a little bit of a history.
Yeah, apparently it was Kansas.
They got together at Kansas.
Yeah.
I remember that. Cole Custer was in the wrestling car.
Yes.
Which just made it even funnier at Kansas. But him and Chandler Smith have not been getting along this year. Obviously, Chandler Smith he's one of those guys, very talented race car driver, kind of did the whole pay-to-win deal with JGR, and it hasn't landed him a ride for next year, so I'm sure he's really frustrated. He was battling to make it into the championship 4 this weekend at Martinsville, and him and Cole Custer. I think Cole Custer, I think it started with Chandler Smith.
It did. Custer was in front of him. Smith was faster, but he was having a hard time.
Right, this was with like 80 laps
this was
to go.
This was a ways to go.
Yeah.
I will give Chandler credit at this point because he did everything he could to pass him without wrecking him.
Yeah.
It felt like 15 to 20 laps.
I didn't see the end of this race live.
So
Cole Custer was on an opposite strategy pretty much the entire race, so I'm assuming his tires were older at this point.
I think so. So Chandler was definitely faster, and he was doing everything in his power to pass Custer clean. And it was like, I mean, you watched it. It was, 15, 20 laps of him. Like, he'd bump him a little bit, but never anything egregious.
Yeah.
And then finally you got to the point where it was like, all right, move. So he bumps him, gives him very clean bump and run, nothing like the Truck Series. He moved him up half a lane, got his nose inside of him, passes him. And I think the caution came out like a lap later. It was very shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
So then we see something that I've never seen before. They line up, they go for the choose cone. Almirola takes the top spot. Chandler is in second, so he goes outside front row. Where would you think Custer would go?
Inside.
Wrong. He goes outside behind Chandler Smith to just Rowdy Burns the shit out of him. Like, I feel like he was behind him on the restart, giving him the wave. Like, hey, buddy.
Remember me?
And they go into
Russ Wheeler who did that.
Russ Wheeler, yeah. They go into one, and I mean, Custer just moves his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it cost Custer too. They both got up in the marbles and dropped it wasn't like the Eckes one where he moved Gray and kept the lead. Like, Custer ended up dropping like a rock too. Both of them did.
I mean, I think there was definitely some strategy involved in Custer. He wasn't out there solely to ruin Chandler's race.
No.
Cole Custer was that final car making it on points, and Chandler Smith goes up there, and who's to say Almirola doesn't pull over for him?
Yep.
To get Chandler Smith in the Final Four, and guess what? That knocks Cole Custer out.
I think there was a touch of like you just moved me, I'm going to move you, but I do agree that it was also self-preservation. He knew that
I think it was a calculated risk.
He knew that the 81 couldn't win or he'd be out. So it was like, all right, you want to move me? I'm going to move you back and save my chances.
Right.
At least from you.
Yeah,
Granted,
not to mention two drivers with history.
Yeah.
They've already gotten into each other in this race, and it's Almirola's going to win that race. I don't think the 8's going to pass him. So the biggest threat in that moment is probably the 81.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Smart on Cole, a little dirty, but hey, it's Martinsville.
It is what it is, yeah.
And this guy's now rubbed you twice and you haven't retaliated, so doors open.
Yep.
And I thought the 8 was going to catch him because the 8 had a tire advantage. Like I said, he ran him down, but I think they equalized, and Almirola just was untouchable.
Oh, yeah.
Did you talk about the pillow slap?
No, we have not. We didn't. We set the tone.
Oh, okay. So what happened after the fact, Norm?
So Cole Custer, Chandler Smith, obviously they pretty much finished the race bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
They come down pit road. They now park bumper to bumper. Chandler Smith comes out. Like I mentioned before, definitely some frustration boiling over for him. Obviously, he just missed the Final Four, but he's one of those guys that he does not have a ride for next year. And he's been pretty open about there's not a lot of opportunities, if any, for him next year.
Yep.
And he's said before that he could end up working at his dad's freaking fence company or whatever the heck his dad owns.
He better learn how to throw a punch if he's going to be on job sites.
So
I know.
He ends up getting in Cole Custer. I think it was in front of Cole's car, right?
So he was. Yeah. So he was parked in front of Cole. I'll give him credit. He didn't pull a Ty Gibbs. He got out of the car, took his equipment off, and then he turned and saw Cole standing there, and you could see the wires cross because he marched right over to him. They were next. They were basically at Cole's window at his car, so he went up to Cole.
I mean, you get out of your car, you look behind you, there's fucking Cole Custer with a dirt stash, probably smiling ear to ear.
Yeah.
Because he just made the Final Four. He just knocked his enemy out.
Yeah.
I could see how that would rattle Chandler's cage a little bit. Unfortunately for Chandler, his cage is like for a dodo bird or a freaking
parakeet.
Parakeet. That's the word I was looking for. Dodo birds are big. Parakeets are small.
And extinct.
Are they?
Like his career.
Parakeets, dude?
No, dodo
They
birds.
must have left him in the mines, dude.
Jesus Christ.
So Chandler Smith approaches Cole Custer, who is a world-renowned wrestling champion at this point in time, I believe.
Yes.
Chandler Smith is a world-renowned
Nothing.
So he approaches Cole Custer. Words were shared. Cole aggressively takes off his Hans device. Chandler then kind of like puts his hand on his hip or something like that. And I think Cole was very vocal back to him.
He was yelling at him.
He was instigating him because I think Cole sized him up and went, "It's no problem for me." And Chandler, I don't know if he went to punch him or if his hand just collapsed.
Yeah, it wasn't like a closed fist. It was like it was like a folded finger slap combo.
You like bear clawed him.
Compare it
get that bitch.
Compare it to the Chastain punch. That was a purpose jab or a hook. Like
Chastain can throw a very clean punch.
Chandler came like way over the top. He didn't like hook. It wasn't.
And he hit him in like the bottom of the chin or something.
He came from low,
and he like rainbowed him.
And I think he's just so
noodly,
weak and scrawny that like just the air opened his hand. Like he wasn't strong enough to keep his fist clenched. I don't know. But it wasn't. He didn't make good contact.
No.
Cole Custer immediately started laughing in his face.
Which that was the greatest. The look. There's a still image of like Chandler is still in like recoil because he hits him. He doesn't hit him and stand his ground. He hits him and starts running away. Like that's the old like and then run away.
Yeah.
And the absolute hysterical laughter on Cole, like the maniacal laughter on Cole Custer's face.
That was the most disrespectful part of this is Custer just laughing.
Because Cole Custer's like the fake punches at the WWE are harder than what you just threw at me.
Yes.
And I mean, just look at Cole Custer. He's built like a brick house.
And then
like,
Custer goes
a brick.
just one cube.
Little brick.
And then Custer goes on.
Or like a cinder block.
He has his NBC interview where he calls him fucking soft.
Yeah.
I was like, I instantly posted the letter, Kenny. You're fucking 10-ply, bud.
I love Cole Custer, dude. He's so funny.
I am starting to like him.
He's like Alex Bowman.
A little bit.
He is sneaky funny.
Yeah.
He's obviously much different personality, attitude, and stuff like that. But it's just like he just has like little quirps he'll throw in there, and you're just like, this motherfucker.
Yeah, in the middle of his interview, he's like, he's just soft.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I think it was a great race. Put on a good show, despite a fairly dominant performance by Eric Almirola. So that wraps up our final four. So we have Mr. Austin Hill AJ Allmendinger, Justin Allgaier, and Cole Custer going to your Final Four at Phoenix. Who do you got? You know what? We're gonna make our picks for all of them now. So let's go. All right. So I'm going to go with Grant.
I'm going with you.
You're coming with me?
Yep.
I want to, but I'll be different. I'll go with Ekis.
Smart play.
Okay. And who do you want for Xfinity? It's not like a one pick versus other.
Xfinity's tough because it's like you've got two specialists and then two guys you expect to be there.
Yeah.
You've got Custer and Allgaier.
AJ, he'll finish fourth overall out of the four guys.
I think so.
Austin Hill, I don't think their RCR is going to be good at Phoenix.
I agree.
And then you have the 7 and the 00, who are, on average, your two strongest guys every week.
Yep.
Just because of last year, what Cole was able to do at Phoenix, I'm doubling down with him. Obviously, been a fan of Cole's for
I think that's
10 years now.
probably who's going to win, but I'm taking Allgaier.
But, I mean, Allgaier, I think, is probably your safest bet.
I want Allgaier to win.
He
shoots himself in the foot
There's just
constantly.
a target on his shoe, dude.
He's Xfinity's Denny Hamlin.
He really is.
And Denny,
but I want it to happen.
He even called that on his show today. He said he's like me. He's the Mark Martin of Xfinity. Yeah. Like he's always there.
No, Mark Martin won a championship in Xfinity.
True. He's like he's there, but he hasn't gotten it done yet.
Yeah.
I just think that's the feel good story is for Allgaier finally to win the championship. But I also would not be shocked if we're sitting here next week saying that Custer led 150 of 200 laps.
I want the Grand Enfinger Championship because I want that storyline, the Wiley veteran, the new team getting it done. That's a great storyline. I would like the Cole Custer storyline as well for Stuart Haas to get one on the way out the door kind of thing, and a great send off for him heading up into Cup, going back to back would be sick. But I want Allgaier to just get it done, so I'm going to go with Allgaier as well.
I
won't be mad about either one of the two. I will be really happy if AJ gets it done. I'll be really mad if Austin Hill gets it done.
The only one that will make me mad is Austin Hill.
Yeah.
I'll be happy if any of the other three win. So we have a 75% chance of being happy next Saturday.
I want a carbon copy.
Yeah, we had that before, and then what happened?
Oh, shit. Good call. Last time we had this.
Yeah, we're 75% chance we're all going to be thrilled about this. No. Wrong.
Yeah, but can't really hate that kid for that night.
Just don't even bring it up.
I want a carbon copy instant replay of the final restart from last year in the Xfinity Series. That freaking final run.
That was an awesome race.
I've rewatched it like 3 times throughout the year. Just because that final restart was nuts. All 4 of the final 4 were 4 wide off of turn 2.
Yeah.
To the green white checker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was
such a great show.
Give me that and give me Cole Custer back to back.
Let's do it. Keep moving. The Xfinity 500 Cup race at Martinsville Speedway.
Great name because it was simple, but I hated it because I kept saying
it was confusing.
The Xfinity race.
Yeah.
Is 500 laps too many?
No,
I think it put on a great show.
Yeah, I just felt like I sat down and I was like, 500, fuck.
There was a moment yesterday when I felt like I had been watching that race for a long time, and I looked up and there was still 2:30 to go, and I was like, oh, God.
Bro, every time I was like, all right, like Larson was my pick. Like, all right, Larson's in a good spot here. 310 laps to go. What the hell?
I think they should do.
I was texting with. Sorry to interrupt you.
I do it too all the time. So.
Sorry, I was texting with you guys when I was doing the place cards. No one else has seen those except you guys, by the way, which is cool.
I tweeted it actually.
Yeah, I showed everybody.
I'm doing all those, listening to the race, and then I'm like, oh, we got to be pretty close. And I was like, and we've hit halfway. I was like, what?
I think you could do a thing like here, like you used to do at Charlotte. Where obviously you get the 600 in the spring, the fall oval race was like 400 miles. I would love if they did like
a kilometer.
I would no. I'm saying when they did the oval.
Oval, okay.
When they did the oval, I think it was a 400, maybe it was 500. I'm not sure. I think the spring race should be like a 400 miler, and then because I think they're both 400 laps. I think the spring race is 500 laps too, if I'm not mistaken.
I said you 500 miles. Let's go.
Oh Jesus!
That's like 2,000 laps.
That'd be 1,000 laps.
1,000 laps.
Jesus. So yeah. Thoughts on the race?
Best
Fantastic.
short track race in the next gen era by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, there was varying strategies. It was unbelievable seeing the content. Taylor in the chat, 45 again.
Taylor, you got to stop. Short track.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah,
I'm pulling for the 45.
I take Bristol
If he
out of
wins,
that
Kyle
because
can't
Bristol
beat him.
itself just sometimes makes good races, except this year.
Yeah.
But because Bristol has had a couple good next gen races, but I'm saying Martinsville has been that like low water mark because Martinsville is always good, except all of the next gen races have been fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So like I said last night in race day chat, it was such a low bar, but we hurdled it like by a mile.
Yeah. Not everyone wasn't on the exact same strategy. Seeing the tires wear out and the whole side of the car is black and covered in rubber, it was awesome.
The Days of Thunder vibes from those cars.
By the way,
so fucking
I
good.
called them. I said they were going to get out of the car looking like, and I posted the picture of Cole Trickle with the black under, all you could see where the goggles were.
Yeah.
Saw a picture of Keselowski. He had black all in his cheeks when he got out of his car last night.
It's awesome.
And what's his name that's on Denny's show, the photographer?
Yeah.
Said he got home last night and his whole face was covered in rubber. He was sitting outside of turn 4 taking pictures, and he's like, I didn't realize how dirty I was till I got home.
Oh, yeah.
The race was awesome. It was exciting. They could go too wide. Both lanes were viable. They could pass, I don't think, as easily as they have in the past, but the passing was there. The only thing this race was missing was like wrecks. There was really no wrecks.
To me, I think the passing was perfect because it shouldn't be easy, but it also shouldn't be impossible.
Exactly.
It wasn't impossible, but it wasn't easy.
And I thought what was so great about this one is not only that, I mean, all of the things that we've already talked about, but that it was such an up and down. Like at one point, it was Chase Elliott's race to win. And then we're like, is Brad Keselowski going to upset everybody on this?
Yep.
And then Blaney coming from out of nowhere. I mean,
Larson was leading.
Byron leading for a while. Like, MTJ showed up and then shot himself in the face
twice.
And
like, there were some
it was
cautions.
Fun
At the start of the race. There were a couple, like there was the bell spin. There was
Suarez
spun like 3 people out.
There was a couple cautions.
Yeah, Hocevar became a weapon again, as always.
Which we said this at COTA. He was a weapon at COTA too. He took out like 3 people at not COTA at the Roval.
Yeah,
he took out like 3 people yesterday. But there wasn't like, I remember watching Martinsville races in the old days, and it was like 15, 16 cautions. We didn't have that. But now we've also seen Martinsville races in the last couple of years where there's just stage cautions. So to have anything was good.
I think this round in general was a great round.
Absolutely.
All 3 of them bangers.
Absolutely.
We were like, Vegas, great race, put on a good show. Homestead, even better. I think this, even better. And then we go to Phoenix.
I just like the first 2 rounds were such wild cards. Like you had you had Watkins Glen, Talladega, Bristol, the Roval. Like it's nice to get to the 3rd round and it's like, cool. We have 3 traditional tracks. You have a 1.5-mile D oval. You've got a 1.5-mile multiple groove progressive banked oval, and then you've got the paperclip.
Yeah,
like give me that, please. It's perfect.
It was fantastic. So let's get into the end and the controversies involved.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Ryan Blaney gets the walk-off win, takes the checkered flag.
That car was a rocket ship.
Sure was.
After like 30 or 40 laps.
Yeah.
They said at the start of the race, I remember I think before the race even started, they were talking about his long run speed in practice.
And it's funny you say that because I wanted to bring that up. And like we always talk about, tire conservation, if you will, people that can manage their tires. It's typically the veterans. You think of the veterans. Blaney's really in that conversation now.
Yeah.
I always feel like he's even better on the long run as time goes on. And every year I feel like he gets progressively better about managing, and you always see him charging.
I feel like every week we're talking about how Ryan Blaney can't do anything for the first 30 laps of a run, and then all of a sudden it's like he's the best car on track.
Yeah. I mean, look at Phoenix last year when he won.
He's also great at long run speed in the season.
Oh, true. He's crap for the first
that's a good
26 laps of the season.
He's like
and then the last 10, he turns it on.
He's like the air raid sirens. It takes a little bit to get going, and then they just keep screaming.
Yeah.
Side note, I don't know if that kid needs to hit the gym or something, but every single time he gets out of the car and gets interviewed, I feel like he's about to pass out.
He was beat last night.
Who?
Blaney.
His post-race, he
He
was
needs
like,
to stop smoking butts
like,
or whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Lay off the tobacco and whiskey, my friend.
Yep. But
don't. I mean, you're awesome.
Yeah, so Blaney ends up running. I mean, that final restart, he was after the NASCAR scoring debacle. That was dumb. I thought that was going to be our officiating problem for the night. I was wrong.
You were wrong.
The Kyle Busch. So Kyle Busch has a loose wheel. They're coming through turn 3 and 4, coming to the green flag with what, like 80 to go, 60 to go, something like that. Kyle Busch's wheel falls off. It is rolling down the track. TV points it out. Everybody knows it's there. Apparently NASCAR just doesn't. I feel like we've played this movie before.
Yeah, I'm watching the TV and going, there's a wheel off.
There's a wheel.
There's a wheel. Green flag. Okay, that's good.
They throw the green flag and they make it one scoring loop. The entire field hadn't even made it to start finish line yet, and they throw the caution. And they consider that taking the green and reshuffle. Blaney lost like 2 or 3 spots. Byron had the lead. Now Larson has the lead. Like
somehow Chase passed like 5 people.
Yeah, it's just that was weird. But that final restart, I think Blaney started like 10th. And he just marched through the field. Then he didn't take any prisoners either. I mean, he moved pretty much everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But he did it, like, respectfully.
He did it clean.
He did it clean-ish. Denny said he moved him, and he goes, I was going to get him back, but his car was so fast I couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
Well, he had a hit on him from the second they dropped the green.
Yep, and then
because the SVG in the 16.
Oh, my God, the pool ball.
And he already had orders to go attack him.
That was earlier in the race. Blaney was trying to get by Byron. They catch SVG. Byron goes high. He's too wide with SVG, and Blaney just gives him the old billiard shot. He bumps SVG up into Byron and just goes by both of them.
Yeah.
Which, that was a harder hit than I realized. I saw SVG's onboard. I understand why Byron was saying his toe was knocked out, because that was...
Well, we were watching it, I believe, from the onboard of the 12 when it happened, and I was like, please break something on the 24. Please break something on the 24.
He almost did.
Because I saw them hit wheel to wheel.
I mean, he did. It hurt that car a lot.
Kyle had picked Byron. If he wins, then I'm screwed. So I was like, please break the 24. Please break the 24. And I was like, that final run when he started dropping, I was like, maybe it did.
Well, he only took 2 tires in that last pit stop, too, so that's what hurt him.
Yeah. Well, he even said in the interview that it did hurt the car a lot.
He said the toe was jacked up the whole rest of the race.
Yeah.
You'll say that.
So Blaney gets his walk-off win, gets to defend his title, and then we sit for 20 minutes.
Well, so at the end of the race, Byron, like Norm just said, is losing spots. We're watching now Bell, who has already spun in this race and had a loose wheel, had to come back down pit road. He's trapped a lap down. He's in, 19th?
19th.
Yeah.
19th, trapped a lap down. He cannot make any more spots. He's, at one point, 6 points behind Byron. Byron was in, 3rd.
He's
then
in
he drops.
19th. I think he was riding around 12th in the running order.
Yeah.
And with 5 to go, they lapped the next car.
Yes. So,
which is still seemingly impossible for him to catch that guy to even gain a position.
So Byron is up 5 or 6 points. He's in 3rd, and he's getting passed because he's just dropping like a rock. The car's handling absolute shit.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up you're watching it, and his crew chief is like, you can lose 1 more, you can't lose 2 more. Well, he loses 1 more, and it's like, oh, God. He's now 1 point to the good. Bell can't gain any points, and Byron it's like he put a sail on the car. And you've got Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, Keselowski, Hamlin. 22 was there. I think Hamlin was in front of him at this point. And I'm like, well, that's it.
The 20 is right there, too.
And the 20's right at the 20's in the back of this group. So I'm like, that's it. It's over. Byron's going to this group's going to eat him alive, and it's over. And then I noticed the 3 is suddenly not passing him. And then the 1 gets up next to the 3.
And he's not passing.
And they ran him down. There is no reason that they should not have passed him. And then it starts to kind of dawn on me what's happening, that there's 2 Chevys behind him, and Byron is the only shot that Chevy has to get into the playoffs. So I'm like, oh, God, here we go. I'm thinking this is going to be the controversy to end all controversies. Twitter's going to blow up. Hendrick bias, blah, 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 blah. And then we get to the final lap.
Even to start, everyone started talking about the 1 and the 3, and I was like, those are the 2 guys that I don't think would take team orders. Ross Chastain, obviously they're both Chevy guys, but Ross Chastain, I mean, Hendrick freaking hates the kid. He has no skin in the game if Hendrick makes the Final 4. And Austin Dillon, who got robbed harder by NASCAR this year than anybody in history.
Yeah, these are manufacturer orders.
Right, and these are...
For sure.
Yeah.
It's Richard Childress' grandson and Ross Chastain, enemy number 1, 2 guys that I did not expect to...
The leader of the don't give a fuck tour.
Want to help out another car.
When it's, like I was telling Average Joe in Discord today, when it's the hand that feeds you telling you what to do, they go by him. Let's say they both pass him and he's out of the playoffs. They could, there's a chance Chevy could pull key partnership. They could lose sim time, and again, I hate to. This is the only show I listen to say other than the Teardown. But Denny was saying that that Chevy Performance Center is essentially run by Hendrick employees.
Yep.
They run that bitch. He called them the big brother. Penske's the Ford big brother. Gibbs is the Toyota big brother. Hendrick is the Chevy big guy.
Of course.
So they work on everything in that Chevy Performance Center, and then the Childresses and the Trackhouses and the other key partners come.
They get to play in their sandbox.
They get to find out what they learned. Well, guess what? You piss them off. You don't get to find out what they learned anymore.
Right.
So that's the hand that feeds them coming down and saying, don't you do it.
And I don't think it was Hendrick. I don't think Rick was getting on the phone.
No, it was
tell those
Chevy.
guys not to pass me. It's Chevy going, if you pass him, we don't have a car in the Final Four.
Exactly. And and I want to shout, I know Pepper said something in Discord telling us to make sure we shout him out. Basso, 88, 488, whatever his Twitter handle is. That guy's incredible.
Yeah.
The fact that we can come on this show 24 hours later and I have so much more context about everything because he goes through, posts all the onboards. He posted Dylan's onboard, and everybody was talking last night because they played the radio audio on TV about the plan. You know the plan. The 24 is in front of you. You know the plan. Does the one know the plan? Yeah, I'm going to talk to his crew chief now to make sure he knows the plan. They were talking about the plan before the race. There was a video, part of the onboard and the radio chatter was Dylan sitting on pit road pre-race, and basically his spotter or crew chief or whoever was like, remember, watch out for the HMS cars. They're fighting for the playoffs. It's part of the plan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, essentially the 1 and the 3 just create a blockade. They create a wall of bow tie. I mean, Brad and Joey and Seabell, they were holding up traffic.
Yes, 100%.
They were still running competitive lap times, but they all should have been able to blow
almost
by.
4 seconds slower.
No, wrong. That was Bubba.
Oh, yeah.
The final lap, they all still ran in the 21s, which is what the leader was running. But they should have blown by Byron with no issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
So they create a wall, essentially. So we get, 2 to go. There was the stack up with Bubba, who now we get into the other half
Right,
of this.
which we weren't fully understanding what was happening there. It was just like all of a sudden there's just brake
There's a
checks
car in the
front
middle
stretch.
of it. Yes, yeah. So now the other half of this, like Norm mentioned, with like 5 or 6 to go, Blaney laps Bubba. And
which I guess Bubba was doing some shady shit before that. When
I noticed this. He was racing
or something.
When he got lapped originally, it was Larson and Chase were 1 and 2, and Blaney was still chasing them down. He fought Larson and Blaney like tooth and nail.
Larson and Elliott,
tooth and nail. He pulled over for Blaney and gave him a wave out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's my buddy. Have fun, dude. I slowed him up for you a little bit. I mean, whatever. It's racing. It is what it is. But, so yeah, they lap. Bubba is now a lap down, so he's in 18th. I think he's the first car 1 lap down. Bell's the second car 1 lap down. And I'm with Norm. I didn't even think that was going to be a problem because they were like a track apart.
I was watching for like 6 or 7 laps because they had Bell was on his own little camera. I was waiting for the purple car to come into shot.
Yeah.
Because I knew Bell was running higher in the running order than he is position-wise.
Yes.
And I knew Bubba had been lapped with like 15 or 20 to go. So I was waiting to see that purple car come into frame.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect to see what we saw, but I was like, it's possible that he could catch Bubba.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about
think
that.
Bubba would fake an injury and pull over for him, but...
Yeah, so with like 3 to go, Bubba comes on the radio and says, I think I got a tire going down. To his credit on his onboard that Basso posted, he about wrecked like 3 times getting into the corner.
That thing was all over the place. I don't think that was bullshit.
Well, NASCAR did investigate the car after.
Tires were up.
They inspected the car after the race. Tires were up. Got to remember, though, the 45 had brake issues and had a brake fire. So who knows? I think that Bubba was just running so high, he was in the marbles, and his tires just got coated with marbles.
I think he was pulling a Hocevar.
A little bit.
We saw Hocevar at New Hampshire doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Bubba do it in the past, and he got busted
He got popped for it.
But I think he was like intentionally just kind of like getting the tires dirty, spinning the tires, popping flames out the exhaust just to look bad. Honestly,
making it dance on purpose.
Yeah, Bubba, do whatever you want, whatever. But if you're trying to cover your ass, fucking lock the brakes up coming to pit road.
Yeah.
Blow a tire.
That's why I saw you say that last night. Yeah.
I was like, if you're gonna lie about having a flat tire, which we assume he was, blow a tire. Fucking hit the wall.
Yeah.
Hit the wall, bend something in your end, and limp it around legitimately for a lap and a half. You're coming to pit road, freaking slam the gas and slam the brakes, lock those fronts up, put your bias all the way to the front.
Just blow a tire out. Yeah.
And blow a tire. Like we used to see with Truex or Jimmy Johnson back in the day.
Doing burnouts.
Hey, make sure you blow the rear quarter off this car.
Yeah.
Make evidence.
Yep.
You telling me that Bubba, a guy who's been racing cars for 30 years, 25 years, doesn't know how to do something to his car to make it obvious?
So Bubba's backing up by leaps and bounds. And then, with like one, I think they were coming to the white.
They were crossing for the white, and he legitimately slammed the brakes going on the front stretch, and guess who's right behind him?
Byron, Chastain, and Dylan.
They were lapping the 7.
Yeah, they all scatter to get around Bubba. And then they go through 1 and 2. They get into 3 on the white flag lap. Bubba just goes way high, lets Bell by. I don't know where the wires. And you know what? At this point, we have 2 race manipulations. Right? It's Chevy's manipulating and Toyota's manipulating. Then Bell fucks the whole thing up by sailing it off into 3, which he didn't have to. He was already by Bubba at that point.
I don't think he knew
exactly
what was happening.
Agreed.
So I think he shipped it in there to try to get everything he got washed up.
He got in the marbles, slid up, gets in the fence, and then just hammers the gas. A lot of people are comparing it to the Chastain wall ride. You know what it reminded me of? Kyle Larson at the Roval the first year.
Yeah.
Limping it around with the broken car, just trying to get it back, and he smashes into the wall and gasses it across the line. Bell gets up into the wall and just buries the throttle and essentially wall rides most of turn 4 and down the front stretch. Boom, he passes Bubba. He ties Byron. Bell gets the tiebreaker. Bell's in the playoffs.
Right.
So now we're looking at they all come down pit road, and now Byron and Bell are just standing outside their cars. Neither of them look happy. Bell looks like someone shot his dog.
Yeah.
Bell,
looked.
He knew.
If you could look guiltier, I challenge you to try to do
poker face 0. He knew he was not looking good in that situation. Byron looked a little more confident, especially in his first post-race interview when he was like,
that's the rule.
He's like, that's the rule. He rode the wall. His front wheels were off the ground when he came out of turn 4.
Yeah.
Because he was riding the wall.
Yeah.
We wait for 20
minutes?
7 minutes, I think it was, or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
And and at this point, none of us know what's going on. We don't know if they're looking at what the 3 and the 1 did, what the 23 did, what all of them did, if they're looking at the wall ride. We don't know. I mean, Twitter was just, I've never refreshed
ablaze.
Twitter. I have never refreshed Twitter so much in my life. My phone was smoking. And it's like everybody, it's like, is it going to be 3 playoff drivers? Are they going to let them both in? Are they going to disqualify both of them and let Larson in? I think NASCAR got it right.
Yeah. Thank you for all of that, because that was a perfect analysis and lead up. In my opinion, like we texted about last night, this was the black and white call.
Uh-huh.
That's the rule. He violated the rule. It is a black and white. You can't do this. That was the right call. The race manipulations, if you want to call them that, that's intent. You have to gauge that based on actions. You could check SMT. They could say that something was broken.
Radio chatter.
Yeah. It gets a lot messier if you want to play the race manipulation card. And then it gets even fuzzier because in the way that the rule is written, which I looked up earlier today, the race manipulation rule is competitors making decisions to manipulate the race. Mm-hmm. The competitors didn't make any decisions at all. The competitors are following the plan that they were told by their team.
And
their team was more than likely told the plan by Chevrolet. So how far does NASCAR want to run up this ladder, and what are they going to do? Penalize Chevrolet? They're not a competitor. They're not the ones doing the competing. So I think it's way too gray to go after the race for manipulation, and that's going to ruin the conversation about such a great race. I think the easiest way out for NASCAR was bang them over the head for the wall ride, which was clear as day a wall ride. Done.
And I think it's also hard to penalize Bell and Byron for the race manipulation because they weren't the ones manipulating it. Do you think Byron was doing anything? He was just trying to hold on, and then those two guys just lined up behind him. Same thing with Bell. He's just trying to get everything he can, and all of a sudden, the purple car is there. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know?
So if NASCAR does decide to penalize, let's say, the 1, the 3, and the 23.
Which I think they will.
Okay, let's penalize the 1 and the 3 that are already out. What are they going to do? Penalize them, $25,000 and
it's going to be
Chevrolet is going to stroke that check all goddamn day.
Oh, absolutely.
Right,
because the money they make from being in the Final Four, from not being in the Final Four, 50-fold pays for that.
They will
fine.
Happily
there is
stroke that
no
check.
point to doing it for NASCAR other than making themselves look bad.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of what they've developed by this playoff format. If you don't want stuff like this to happen, change the format. That's the only way you're going to avoid this
100%.
stuff. I mean, this type of shit happens at fucking plate races.
Yep.
You work with the team. You have team orders that come down. This whole playoff format, the win and you're in, the elimination style, whatever, this is what it's going to create.
This is the product.
This is what you're going to get. So I don't think it would be in NASCAR's best interest to do anything about it. I think it would be in their best interest to let it go at this point. You got your Final Four. You called the wall ride, which was a black and white call. Done.
Like I told you guys last night, I think the manipulations made the score 1-1.
Yeah.
Bell doing the wall ride 2-1. So they went after the wall ride, like you said, which is a black and white, out of bounds line, balls and strikes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's not I guess balls and strikes are kind of a gray area. Whatever.
Right, but if you read anything half Twitter saying this is a gray area too, because according to them, it's the same as the yellow line rule.
Yeah, I've seen so many people that this doesn't look anything like Chastain's. Yes, you're right.
He didn't gain any position, so therefore it's not illegal. It's not the success of the move; it's the attempt of the move.
And it's also
Denny
Denny brought
it up. It's a safety violation.
It's a safety violation because, like he said, Denny. I thought this was a great point. He goes, the reason the wall ride is illegal is so to protect us from ourselves,
right?
And you've got fans sitting 20 feet away.
Right,
if
which is
pieces
what
of cars start flying off that car.
Dude, I watched the replay like 16 times. That was violent.
It was harder than I mean, Chastain's was incredibly violent, but Chastain entered the corner and just rode it the whole way around. Bell went up, smacked the wall, and then just buried the gas.
Yeah, and it was that was brutal.
Yeah. So I've seen all the people, this isn't the same. It's just like, or this isn't even close to Chastain's. You're right. It's not. And I also don't think that Bell had the intent to do that. But when he got up against the wall, he knew he had to finish in front of the 23. So split-second decision was hammer the gas. And I think that's why he looked so guilty at the end, because he knew that was against the rules.
100%.
I think he knew. He goes, I made a split-second decision. I did what I thought what I needed to do.
Yeah. I think coming down the backstretch, he wasn't like, all right, Ross Chastain.
Exactly.
He wasn't like, left A, B, left trigger, right trigger, wall ride. Wasn't trying that. It was spur of the moment, like you said.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of the car. He's like, I know what I did.
I fucked up.
Like Norm said, you look on his face, you're like, yeah. When I texted you guys, because I was a little bit behind, I was like, they have to DQ him.
Yeah.
They have to. Like, that was, to me, clear as day. As soon as it happened, I was like, that's it. He's not in. Like,
is it a DQ or did they just...
They moved him to the tail end of the lap he was on.
Yeah.
So he ended up finishing like 22nd. That's why he was 4 points behind Byron.
Right. Yeah, sorry, not a DQ. That's not the rules. If you get sent to the back or whatever.
I think NASCAR made the only logical choice. I think they had basically two choices. Do what they did, penalize the wall ride, and that's it.
Yeah. And
or they could have gone full nuclear and just fucking put both of them to the back of whatever lead lap they were on, and then Larson gets it.
Yeah. NASCAR does not need any more controversies than they already have on their hands.
Yeah.
This was the right call. Of course, it's going to be the biggest talking point for lots of other places. I don't think it has to be. I mean, we are talking about it now, but I don't think we're talking about it in a negative light like a lot of other places probably will be. It's the product of what we have, and it was a great race. It was an awesome weekend, all three of them. I'm happy with it,
and I think
I had a good time.
I think that, again, we've talked about it on here 100 times. Every time one of these things comes up with a call, they were fucked no matter what they did. There was not an outcome in this where everybody was going to be happy. You've got people screaming about Hendrick bias, and I saw multiple times, I guess the Hendrick check cleared first.
Well, did you see what Bell posted today?
Yeah. That's dude.
What did he say?
He posted a picture of
him and Joe Gibbs, and he's like one bow tie away from the Final Four.
Or two guys without bow ties or something like that. Like basically saying it was Chevy bias.
Yes.
Shut up.
If we were in a Chevy, we'd be fine. What I'll say about this is Christopher Bell made it an easy call.
Yes.
Yeah.
What he did made it black and white. The problem is and I'll say what I will about the 1, the 3, and the 23 in a minute, but if NASCAR decided to say penalize, disqualify, whatever, the 1, the 3, and the 23 for race manipulation, guess what? You just made it murkier because now Bell is advancing 3 positions.
Yep.
And now he's going to pass Byron in points if you penalize them for that. You know what I mean? So, I think they made the right decision for Sunday night, which is this is a clear violation of our rules. It wasn't intended on being a Chastain wall ride, but goddamn, you put the second half of Chastain's video next to the video of the 20, they look identical.
Right.
Because the exit of the corner was identical.
Yep.
So that made the decision for NASCAR to penalize the 20 on the spot, I think, very easy.
Yeah, if Bell doesn't do that, it turns into more of a shit show. I think the fact that Bell, I'm with you, the fact that Bell did that made it, that NASCAR went, whew.
That was easy.
This is easy.
Yeah.
What I will say, though, is I think the 1, the 3, the 23, even throw the frickin' 16 in there, just because we've been hearing about his radio calls. Anytime they mention a plan or this is coming from Chevy, I think NASCAR needs to do something.
I don't know, did you see SVG's radio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. A monetary fine, like I said before when we were talking about the Truck Series, monetary fines in Cup Series don't frickin' matter.
Mm-hmm.
$25,000 per team. Denny Hamlin will pay that with what he has in his frickin' sock.
In his shoe collection.
They don't care about that. But penalize these guys, points, owners' points. Fine each of them 25 owner points. They're each going to drop 2-3 spots in the points. And guess what? That just hurt their bank fold.
Yeah.
That hurt them much larger than it did a monetary $25,000 fine. That just dropped them 3 points in the owner's points. Yeah. That just made their charter worth less money next year.
Yeah, but the manufacturer's going to pay them back.
But it's gonna they need to scare them away from taking manufacturers. Obviously, at Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, manufacturers are going to work together. But we don't see manufacturer guys pulling out a line to let, Chris is in 20th and Bubba's in 17th. Bubba's not going to pull out a line at Daytona.
The only thing.
But Tyler Reddick's going to try to push the 20 past the 23.
I get what you're saying, that they need to quell the whole manufacturer's orders things, but this even comes back to what I just said about the 3 and the 1. You're taking orders from the hand that feeds you.
Mm-hmm.
The manufacturers feed NASCAR. Look at what NASCAR has been doing to the fucking cars and the sport because they're trying to woo another manufacturer.
Yeah.
Dropping power down, whatever, all this other bullshit. I think NASCAR does nothing to the manufacturers because the manufacturers are what run the damn sport.
Right.
Without Chevy, Ford, and Toyota, they piss Ford or they piss Toyota off. Now you've got 2 manufacturers or whatever.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they do anything. I agree with Norm; they probably should.
I think they do something.
I don't think they do because.
No, I think it's going to be an arbitrary financial fine. That's
you
all.
think it's going to be a publicity thing more than anything.
I think it's going to be a 50. The 3, the 1, and the 23 are fined $50,000 each, and it's going to be one of those. We did something, but it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, but they also have to prove it. Well, that's where my argument comes in. I would not be surprised at all if they do something, just like Norm said, and I agree they probably should.
Yeah.
But they have to prove it.
Well,
and if they appeal it, and they could pull their own SMT. Oh, look, my throttle trace is all over the place because my brakes were going on. Like they'll win that appeal, and NASCAR just doesn't need that publicity right now.
It comes down to 2 things. Number 1. Is the damn 3 spotter needs to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, be better.
This is
come up with some code words or something.
Be more obvious. I dare you.
That's where the problem lies.
So the 3,
I think the 16 was the most egregious.
The 3 and the 16. Well, that's a different scenario, but I agree. The 1 team did a really good job of keeping it like you don't really know what they're talking about. What?
Just thought of something. Keep going.
Okay, so the 3 radio is going to be damning on the Chevy part. I watch again. That Basso video was like 7 minutes long, and they said the plan fucking 20 times.
Right.
And then I think we don't know what happened, but that post-race inspection of the 23 is going to be massive. If nothing's broken, if there's no problems with that car, that's going to be damning.
Well, Bubba, I think what damns the 23 is Bubba initially said, I think I have a tire going down.
Yes.
He gets to pit road. Guess what? All 4 tires are up. He gets out of the car. Something must have broke and walks away.
Yeah.
Well, now NASCAR is going to be like, okay, we're going to go find what broke. And if they can't find anything, then I think that is what deserves to be a penalty. But I think they need to scare these manufacturers. I understand manufacturers buy into the sport, but they need to scare them because they're buying into a sport that the more they manipulate it, the more the sport becomes untrustworthy.
Agreed.
Right.
Looks bad. Right. And guess what? Toyota was the one mostly affected by this. Toyota contributes a hell of a lot more to the sport than I feel like Chevy does. Toyota is a primary sponsor of the sport. They supply all the concession vehicles around the tracks, the pace cars.
Not all of them, but
It's concession vehicles?
Pocono's a Chevy track. It's all track dependent.
Yeah, but it's like all the
They drive around
ride-along
concessions?
trucks are Toyotas. The Air Tundras are Toyotas. Toyota is a
Air Titans.
We don't say Titans anymore.
Air
yeah.
Titans.
The Toyota is like a primary sponsor of the sport.
Air Tundras with Chevy V8s in the back.
So it's like, are you going to offend this company to appeal this company? Because if you're going to...
And I agree with Kyle where they should do something, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they just don't. All right, so what did you think of?
Eric Jones in the 20 car.
Yes.
Blatantly egregious. Don't pass Denny.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
What did they do to him? Nothing.
Yeah, but also last year, this was brought up was it last year or
Cole
2 years
Custer
ago at the Roval?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, Cole Custer at the
Ooh,
Roval
yep.
backs up to Chase Briscoe to let Chase Briscoe go by in the back chicane, and he gets bopped with points. His crew chief suspended indefinitely.
Yeah, that was like brutally egregious when they looked at SMT.
Yeah, but how is that no different than Bubba locking the brakes up going down the front stretch?
Any different than Bubba.
If they look at SMT and it shows something like that, yeah, that could be the case.
But I
think I mean, Eric Jones, they did absolutely nothing to.
Yeah.
And that was,
I
mean, it was literally don't do it. Don't pass him.
Yeah.
And then he lets off. So we'll see. We don't know. But I think NASCAR made the right call in the moment, and we have the result that we should have, period.
I just hate that this awesome race is going to be clouded. I was so excited last night watching that race. I was like, we finally get to talk about a good short track race. And then 20 minutes after the checker flag flies, well, I'm like, God damn it. This is all we're going to talk about.
And
all anyone's going to talk about.
I think we had a productive conversation about it. I don't think we were people throwing a fit. Because I listen to a lot of like YouTube videos and stuff to people throwing a fit. Like, it was a great race. We're gonna have a great championship. Get over it.
I just think I'm with you. They made the correct call in the moment.
100%.
If they had gone back and looked at all of it and when Elton Sawyer came out last night and had his press conference, he said, we only looked at the wall ride. We weren't looking at anything else. And I think that was the perfect way to do it. If they were looking at everything and they made a decision on everything, it would have been another how many jokes last night were made about, and Jeff Gordon's added to the playoffs. Like, it would have been another one of those situations where all of a sudden they come out and we have a final 3 or a final 5 or everybody's DQ'd and Larson's in. It would have just been a shit show.
Yeah.
I think this was the correct way to do it because of the black and white rule violation.
Yep.
Right. And I made that post several times on Twitter last night where a lot of people disqualify both of them. The 20 and the 24 did nothing wrong.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Until the exit of turn 4 on the 20.
True.
But what happened with any race manipulation was out of their hands, out of their control. They had nothing to do with.
Byron was probably confused. He was probably like, these guys just ran me down and no one's passing.
So we ultimately have the final 4 of Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron.
Before we leave Martinsville, did you see the video of Ryan's his press conference?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Holy shit. It is so funny because he's legitimately like, they're asking him questions. And you can hear the voices. It's Jeff Gluck. It's Jordan Bianchi. I think Claire was in there. The voices we all recognize.
Yeah.
And Blaney just kind of holds his hand up and he goes, I have a question. What happened at the end of the race? And the entire room starts going like, you can hear, I think it's Gluck goes like, we don't have enough time to tell you what happened. And
that's awesome.
Bianchi gives him like a quick rundown and like, he just like drops the mic and he's like, oh. And he's like, yeah. And then Bell Wall Road. And he's like, oh, he pulled the Hail Melon, huh?
Yep.
And then he's like, and then I think it was Bob was like, so you happy to not be involved in any of that controversy? And Ryan just goes, fucking right I am.
That's awesome. So, like we made our picks for the other two, who you going with? Dan Walker.
I got to ride with my pick from January 3rd, I think it was, or whatever, when we made the all too early season predictions. It's Byron's year.
I like it. Norm, what do you got?
I'd be happy if Blaney wins, though.
My heart is on Blaney. The other three, I mean, this is a Final Four that I won't mind seeing any one of them win.
Completely
I think
agreed.
Byron is my lowest on the totem pole, just because I don't hold him to that high of a caliber. I would love to see Reddick win. I'd love to see Blaney win. Logano, I would accept.
Yep.
And Byron, I don't think he's all that in a bag of chips. Although he's hell of a next gen guy.
I want to see Byron win.
I'm gonna go Blaney.
I want Byron just because of my Chevy Hendrick bias.
Yeah.
But I'm with Norm. I honestly, Byron because I'm a Hendrick Chevy guy. Reddick because I like him, and the hilarity, like I said earlier, of Ben Kennedy having to hand Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin a cup trophy in the middle of a lawsuit against them would be fucking hilarious.
That's why I want it.
Blaney, I love Blaney. I would love to see him go back-to-back. When the hell was the last time we had a back-to-back champion? Earnhardt in the 90s? Or did Jeff win back-to-back?
All right, Jimmy Johnson won 5 in a row.
Jimmy won 5 in a row. Jesus Christ.
I was waiting for you.
Jesus Christ.
I just sat here waiting for Dan to finish.
I black out that entire section because that's when I fell out of NASCAR for a while. And
when it's all the exact same trophy,
When
it
was
doesn't
the
count.
last time a Chevy won a championship?
And then Logano.
In our lifetime,
Yeah.
I doubt it.
And then true. And then
Has anyone gone back to back in the last 35
Sorry, I
years?
forgot.
I don't know,
Has
one
Hendrick
guy
won any
5 times.
championships?
that section of time,
Yeah, getting Hendrick their first championship would be sick.
I hate you.
It's a new team, but I think they
I fucking hate you guys.
Dude, I mean, getting the 24 car to the championship for the first time, that's awesome.
Like I said, I blanked out that whole section because that was when I just kind of fell out of NASCAR because it got really boring watching
'cause
Jimmy
we were
Johnson.
we were
win 5.
drunk
almost
early
just fell out of my
20-year-olds.
chair when you forgot Jimmy Johnson won 5 fucking
And then Logano, I'm with Norm. I'm indifferent. Like, I don't hate him anymore. I think out of the 4 of them, he's the one I want to win least.
Yeah, I think I guess I'd agree with that. I mean, I think we've all documented this a lot here that we've kind of turned a page on liking Joey.
I agreed.
Yeah, I think he's had the best character arc out of damn near any Cup driver.
Agree.
Outside
100% agree.
Outside of Kurt Busch.
He's I don't know. He's too busy
currently
drunk driving right
serving.
now. yeah, I don't know about that.
All right,
DUI arrest,
True.
so-
Yeah,
True.
Uncle
not a,
Kurt's.
but he's not a cup driver anymore, so you can't count that.
Yeah, Drunkle Kurt. I don't know. I don't know.
Listen,
Points.
Listen, he did.
But-
He was married to an assassin.
I think we've turned the page
Tiger
on
Woods.
liking Joey Logano.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay with that. A 3-time would be cool.
Yep.
I mostly want Joey to win because he's right now 15th in points.
Well, and
somehow
Can I
battling
finish ever?
No.
Yeah, I agree with the Reddick thing. Just to see Jordan hoist the trophy, although Denny will be absolutely insufferable
yeah, but I think it'll be funnier if Denny wins it as an owner
before himself.
but never a driver. That would be even funnier.
Yeah, that's fair. And
said
then
that's
he's going to just talk about how much it doesn't matter because he has one that he owns.
True.
Does he get 2 Hall of Fame plaques? One as an owner, one as a driver?
I agree with both of you combined. Like I don't dislike Byron, but I don't love him. He doesn't have like the biggest personality
Very
in the
neutral.
world. He's very very white bread.
Yep.
But my allegiance to the 24 car as a kid,
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that too. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Blaney.
I think that's I mean, he's got all the momentum.
He's a stud.
Look at the last 3 weeks. I don't remember what he did in Vegas because I was drunk on a boat and it was 3:00 in the morning.
Hell yes.
But almost wins Homestead. He did the same thing last year. Finished second at Homestead, wins at Martinsville to get into the. I mean, that's all the momentum in the world. Look at what he did last year. It's lining up exactly the same. I had a thought and it's gone. Oh, if Logano wins, I don't want to be involved though because I feel like Twitter will be insufferable because of the Bowman DQ, the fact that he's 15th in points.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be
probably.
like Mickey Mouse, asterisk, blah, 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 blah,
here for
blah. So that's going to suck if he wins. Reddick, again, regular season champion. Like, you want to see that guy. I'm glad he got to the Final Four. I hate when the regular season champion just flames out and is gone in the round of 12.
Which happens a lot.
Which happens a lot. So, yeah, I'm happy with any of them. But I
Cool.
got to stand on business like Dale Jr. did last year. I'm going to ride with the guy I picked before the season even started.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, but Dale Jr. picked a name out of a hat, and Blaney went to the house. You just picked the champion from last year, and you're just like, he could win.
No, I picked Byron.
Oh, I thought you picked Blaney.
No,
Norm, the 24's never won a championship.
It never has.
True. He wasn't the winningest next gen driver, so he was just.
I picked him back on. I
you
looked
did.
it up. It was January 3rd. I think we made our way too early season predictions. You picked Larson.
I think I picked all of Hendrick to be the final four just to be a badass.
Well,
You told. Oh, let's call out Norm for all the things he was wrong on.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott got 4 wins, and was the champion.
Yeah, well, I figured he would just rebound from last year.
Yeah, Larson, you were shy. Larson, you said he would have 3 wins.
Double it.
Blaney,
3. He's on
3
there.
wins.
Hamlin 3. He's off. No, Hamlin.
I think Hamlin has 3.
But he has 4.
Does that? But does
3?
But Bristol doesn't count. They took Bristol away from him because of the motor.
Well, they took the points away. They didn't take the win
true,
away.
True.
Reddick 2, Logano 2.
Logano had 3.
Yep.
The whole championship 4 has 3 wins.
MTJ got 2 wins.
Woof. Kyle Busch got a win.
Kyle Busch got a win.
Bell only had 1 though. Tough season.
Hey, you got the Brad K win.
Yeah, give me shit for that, and you guys aren't man enough to pick the amount of wins that
Because
your guys
that's
get.
way too confusing.
Yeah.
You had Larson. He had Elliott. I'm the only one.
You're the only one.
I'm the only one who.
I mean, you win
picked-
that by default.
Yep. Also, I'd like to bring back the. Since we're talking about our way too early season predictions, I would like to take the win for Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah, you 100% do. Yeah, so that gives you.
James Smith had a comeback though.
Can I
that-
get some
you get
points?
2 additional points for
Can I
that.
get some points, please?
I think he gets additional points for that.
Hey, double
for
digits.
rookie of the year?
He's got Byron by lock for picking the champion, and he's got Hocevar by Rookie of the Year. I'm giving it to you. 11 points, baby.
Let's go double digits.
Putting an asterisk next to it.
Jimmy Johnson's going to get me to 12 this week.
All right, let's answer some questions, shall we? Let's have some
Won a
fun.
championship. How is he going to win?
If anybody is even watching the YouTube, you can ask questions now.
Last I looked, we had 4 viewers, and I know 3 of them are us.
Yep, that's so.
we got
nobody.
6. We got 6.
All right, we'll start from the bottom. Nathan Danforth, who is your what an idiot this week?
Seabell.
Christian
No.
Eckes for making
Eckes.
enemies.
I would say Seabell, but I can't blame him for
No.
making a split-second decision. So, yeah, I'm going to Chandler Smith for the slap.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going Eckes for making enemies. Norm, what do you got?
I'll go the cup race because you guys didn't. I'll just go with Bubba.
Yeah.
Yeah, could have done a better job selling that.
Yeah.
Jet Daily says Ryan fucking Blaney. Enough said. No surprise. He also says the wife's pissed NASCAR goes on for another week in our house now, though. Oh, you're one of those bandwagon people that, oh, my guy didn't win. I'm not watching anymore.
If
So he's like a
Blaney-
Chase
if
Elliott fan,
Blaney
but likes
blows an
Blaney.
engine in the first stage, he stops watching the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a loser.
Love you, Jet.
Love you too. Nathan Danforth, with SHR's final race next week, what is your favorite SHR memory of all time?
Clint Boyer, Martinsville.
Great one. I want
Spingate.
that whole. That wasn't. That was Michael Waltrip
Michael
Racing.
You idiot.
No, what was the Clint Boyer spin?
That was Michael
Richmond for
Waltrip
Michael
Racing.
Waltrip.
Oh, it's Michael Waltrip Racing? That
That's
wasn't SHR
literally
days,
what
huh?
put Michael
That's right.
Waltrip out of business.
Yeah, sorry.
Probably
14
a
championships
toss-up
for me, obviously.
between when Tony won the Brickyard, just because of how big that was for the Indiana guy to win the Brickyard. Also, his run his last championship when
Didn't he win the Brickyard in the 20? Or was that the 14?
No, he won it in the 14. I thought he only won it in the 14.
I thought it was in the 20.
I thought he didn't win it for the longest time, and then he finally won it in the 14.
Oh.
I might be wrong. I could
Remember,
be
like,
wrong.
all the West Coast Customs guys were there. So if they were relevant, it had to have been early 2000s.
They're still relevant. They're still doing stuff.
Yeah, I forgot they made that Jeep for Shaq.
Yeah.
20.
Did he win it in the 20? Okay, sorry, my bad. He won it in the 14.
I think it was
though,
like
too.
the Coca-Cola Husky scheme, wasn't
Maybe.
it?
No, it was the Home Depot.
Then it's got to
Just plain Home
be.
Depot?
What year was his last championship? Was that 14?
14 was Harvick.
The year that he
12.
dominated, like came in the chase like last and just rattled off like 5 or 6 wins and ended up
was
winning
that
the
12?
championship. It was his
13?
last. I forget
13
what year
maybe?
it was.
It was when he tied with Carl Edwards, right?
I think so.
Oh, it was his last championship. So let's check the old wiki.
I feel like
Norm, you got one?
I feel like 12. Favorite SHR memory?
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
it. Clint Boyer at Martinsville.
winning
Oh, yeah. All right.
Little Cash Boyer running across
That
the
was
start
cool.
finish
That was
line,
an
dude.
awesome moment.
Goddamn, make me cry every time.
That would have been 2011.
And didn't he rattle off like 6 wins in the chase and came out of nowhere? And,
Yeah, that was 2011.
Yeah. That was just an unbelievably
5.
dominant performance.
He won half of the championship.
Half of the championship and came out of nowhere and
Honestly,
won the championship.
I'll add a little add on to that. Pretty much all of the 4 and 39 paint schemes are my favorite SHR memories. They were all so good.
Tony's last win at Sonoma, how hyped he was.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Oh, that was cool. And
There's a lot of good ones.
I know yours.
Denny out of the way to win that one, which was cool.
14. Yeah, I already said it.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got to be Harvick winning the championship.
Yeah, of course. In the Budweiser.
My favorite was the year when Harvick won 10 races and didn't make it to the final.
Fuck
8.
off.
Sorry.
Although, I mean, that sucked.
That was a fun year, though.
But it was a great year because we were all like on lockdown, and I watched every single one beginning to end.
Remember the Wednesday races or the Thursday, like the Wednesday night races?
Bro, those were the best
Those were
because
awesome.
I was working from home like 100%, basically not doing anything because the world was shut down. So I put the projector outside and I watched every one of those weekday races outside by the pool.
Oh,
it was amazing.
Those were fun. And then we go to Loudon with 12,000 people.
It was great. There was
so-
nobody there.
We had a pea tree. We had woods to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
in. That
it
was
was
the best.
Awesome.
And then we had trash bags full of beer, scumbag.
No, they were ice bags.
Ice bags,
Yeah.
full of beer, and we had leaky Amazon coolers because we couldn't go.
The ice bags were better.
The ice bags were better than those Amazon.
100%.
Those Amazon
we all
lunch
got
boxes.
the clear backpacks, and we were all soaked by the time we.
I
sat
still have the
down.
clear backpack. I got the clear lunch box to put beer in, and yeah, we made it halfway to the grandstands, and all the water had leaked out of it.
No, they were terrible.
Those were so bad.
Yeah, scumbag with the move of the century, just using the ice bag. And then the lady we're walking in, she's like, it's kind of brilliant.
Because it was clear, you could see through it.
Yeah,
I did that.
he was carrying a sack of beers in an ice bag like he's goddamn drunk Santa Claus.
Wasn't there a guy trying to do it with like a black trash bag and they wouldn't let him in?
Yeah,
because it wasn't see-through.
Scumbag looked at him, amateur.
Yeah,
I did that at Pocono one year with a Shaw's grocery bag.
I remember you telling me
A
that.
bunch of Natter Days in it.
Oh god.
All right, Sam Valley 95 with a couple. Besides Martinsville, what track would you put in the last for the round of 8? Leave it alone. Oh wait, last race for the round of 8. Yeah.
So yeah, the cutoff race.
Cutoff,
I think Martinsville's perfect.
No.
I've never been.
Not changing at all.
I have never complained about Martinsville being.
I'm not changing this
cutoff.
round.
No.
Good with it.
Well, they are
So
next year.
repeat
So
the question. What was the one
Besides Martinsville, what track would you put in the last race?
of the round of 8.
This race.
easy Phoenix, and then change the championship race?
I like that.
You would do Phoenix as the elimination?
I don't give a shit where it goes as long as it's not the last race of the year.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
if it has to go to the round of 8 and we put Martinsville or Homestead as a championship race,
Well, this round changes next year. I mean, Martinsville's still the cutoff race, but Homestead's out of the playoffs now.
Yeah.
Which is dumb. I mean, as someone who is really happy that Loudon's in the playoffs next year,
I like the rumors as to why it's leaving
I
the playoffs.
appreciate that. And I don't know if you've heard any of that because Homestead is in the spring next year, it will give them a year and a half to improve the place to have the
It needs
championship
it.
race in 26.
Yeah, I mean, when I went 7 years ago, it was tired then.
And I've heard it hasn't changed at all.
No, it hasn't. They haven't touched it. All right. Sam Valley 95 continues on with what NASCAR driver do you think would be good in the Days of Thunder movie? If you are listening to this, the Days of Thunder rumor has come back up as it does every other year. So
Honestly, it
I'm
seems
not-
like it has like a little bit more.
It's got
behind it
legs.
this
I feel
time.
like it's got legs.
Yeah,
And like I
because
said,
there's a
I'm not doing
studio attached to the rumor.
like I said to Josh, Podcast Addy sent this to us. We had already seen it, and he sent it to us. I think the success of Top Gun 2 maybe gives this a little more legs.
Yeah, I'm going to be the opposite of what I normally am as the optimist. I'm going pessimist because
I
I'm not
agree.
getting my hopes up.
No, that's how I am. I won't believe it until I see a release date.
Yeah.
Then I'll believe it.
But what driver do you think would be good in it?
Corey.
Oh,
Because because he loves Days of Thunder so much that he would do it justice. Corey, Kyle Busch, I think would do
Kyle
pretty
Busch
good.
would have to just play himself, though.
Yes. Which Days of Thunder had real drivers in it. You had Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know who the hell
I would
Aldo
rather-
Benedetti was.
Yeah.
That was the test driver.
That was the test.
BJ McLeod as like the Mad Max bad guy.
Ooh.
I would rather like a Stroker Ace type cameo where it's just a bunch of drivers hanging out. And we just kind of mix in the main character with them.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is probably
definitely.
what would happen.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Brent in the chat, SVG is the bad guy from overseas.
Oh! What is this? No, that would be Talladega Nights 2.
Yeah.
Oh, Shane Van Gisbergen.
Why is he French?
So the French guy's talking to him because now there's another foreign guy that comes in.
Oh, Battle of the Foreigners. Do you think Dale Earnhardt passed out candy on Halloween back in the glory days?
God, I hope so.
I don't know if anyone walked that long of a driveway.
Also,
yeah.
since we're talking about it, Teresa got shut the fuck down. Don't know if you saw that.
Well, not quite.
Well, it's almost.
The town, basically everyone in the town said, we don't want this to happen.
They said like 200 people from the town showed up to be like, nah, bitch.
Yeah, that's just them voicing their displeasure.
And then I guess the board voted it 8-0, but there's another board that has the final say. But apparently, if it's got that much opposition,
it's not looking good for
her to sell land,
for her to turn part of the land into like an industrial park
to commercial.
And their argument was that part of Mooresville is very agricultural and rural, and they don't want that there.
Yeah, it's the rezoning.
Yeah.
What you probably should have just done is selling it, getting it rezoned. For people listening, and maybe for you guys, if you get it rezoned prior to selling it, it is worth exponentially more because of all the paperwork and all that stuff. Getting approval to do that is very difficult. So you can just sell the land for what the land is worth, but it's worth a lot more
if it's commercial.
If it's able to be developed in one way or the other.
But shouts to Carrie Earnhardt's wife because she went in and apparently she went in guns a-blazing.
Raised the stink from what I heard.
I love it.
It's good for her because Teresa was kind of a bitch to them.
Would suck to them.
Oh, especially to Carrie.
Yes.
Mike is vegan. Hot take: don't take a shot every time Discord says drink.
Yeah, he was taking us seriously last night every time. So we had like Martin Truex got a speeding penalty. Drink. Carson Hocevar caution. Drink. And all of a sudden he goes, I maybe shouldn't have listened to you guys. And he goes, this bottle was full when I started, and it was a bottle of like some whiskey, and there was this much of it missing.
Oh,
buddy.
Love it.
He finally, like, I think there was like 100 laps to go, and he posts in Discord, man, this time change is kicking my ass. I'm out of here. I was thinking to myself, is it the time change, buddy? Or
might be all that booze.
It might be all that whiskey.
All right. Pepper cuts grass with a fuck, marry, kill.
Oh.
We got Busch Light, Bud Heavy, and Coors Light.
Kill Coors Light. Fuck Busch Light. Marry Bud Heavies. That's
Norm?
mine.
I'm going to fuck, marry, kill. I'll fuck Bud Heavies. Marry Coors Light, kill Busch Light.
Oof, that's a tough one.
I am going to fuck Bud, marry Bush, kill Coors.
Same as me.
Yeah. You married Bud. I married Bush.
True. I don't mind Coors Light.
I don't either. I mean, all three are a great option. You hand me any of them, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah.
Trust me, I told you guys that the boat only had Bud Lights. By the second or third to last night, it became a struggle to find them. We drank the boat out of Bud Light.
Yeah, I
was going.
I
had to go to different. It was all I had. It was either that or like the other options for beer were like Stella, Corona,
I'd go
Heineken.
Corona.
Like I was like, I'm good with any of those.
Not Heineken.
Heineken's terrible.
Great. I love Corona. I'd pick Corona over that all day long. I don't like
Corona.
Corona with a little splash of grenadine in it.
You ever done the?
You're welcome.
You ever done the Corona with tequila in it?
Yeah. Of course. Or if you go to any Margaritaville, you just order a loaded land shark. You're welcome.
That's not Corona.
But yeah, get Corona and put a little splash of grenadine in it and the lime. Thank me later.
Well, let's try that.
I'm not thanking you at all. Not doing that.
L98 Jake with the next three. I wanted to say Byron was running for his life, but yeah, I thought it looked fishy.
I knew it right away. As soon as they got 2x2, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a second.
Yeah. And then he comes back, well, two-parter. Feel like Bell would have had it if he didn't floor it when he hit the wall. He probably could have detached from it and stayed in front of the 23 and had the spot. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much talked about that to an extent. Like we said, we didn't think it was really like he went in there aiming to do that. It was just kind of spur of the moment and panicked and smashed the gas and whatever else happened. And that's that.
Couple from the old YouTube, Brent, a little while ago. How the hell did SVG hold on to 12th at Martinsville?
Great run for him.
Because he's damn good. Like I said earlier, I think he was going to have a great run in the Xfinity race. He was like running top 5. He got caught up in a late caution, which wasn't even his fault. Someone got spun in front of him, and he just had to stop.
Yep.
And he ended up in the back of the pack.
I think it was pretty early on in the race. They were like, Denny's on board or something like that, and SVG was in front of him. And I expected him to make quick work of him, and SVG started to pull away.
Yeah.
Which I was super impressed by.
Some fast feet, baby.
They also did misspeak.
Just like you did.
Misspoketh.
Misspoken. Misspoken.
Hoomst.
mismarched during the race. They said that in SVG, he'll be in this car full-time next year. I was like, oh, actually, he'll be in the 88.
Technically, he'll be in the next gen.
No, he won't in that car at all.
Yeah. And then one more from YouTube, Mr. Hondo Longmire.
Hondo.
Our biggest fan, and we're big fans of him.
True.
Dan, have you tried the new Red Bull? Light blue color. I think it's iced vanilla berry. I have not. Steph tried it, and she said it's terrible.
So
she said it's too sweet.
I had. Well, did she have the sugar-free one or the regular
I heard
one?
she can't do sugar-free. She's allergic to like the fake
Oh,
sugars,
right. That's right. That's right. So I had the sugar-free version.
I've heard the sugar-free version is better.
It's okay. When you first try it, take the first sip, you're like,
You need to try it first.
yeah.
Oh,
Thank
how
God
long
we
has it
haven't
been?
had
How
that.
long has it been?
I don't understand
Not
that
long enough.
reference.
Oh, yeah. Okay. First sip, you're like, yeah, this is pretty solid. But as you drink it, you realize that the flavor is too light.
Yeah.
It's like it's not strong enough. I'm sure the sugared version is probably stronger, maybe too strong.
Everything I've heard is that it's too much.
Okay, so the sugar-free is too little.
Yeah.
It's almost like LaCroix. It's like you know,
walked
a
by the
lemon.
flavor.
A lemon drove by last week and called its name. It's just not enough.
Yep.
It's not bad, but not enough.
I am very happy to be home because I had 2 weeks without my go-to, which is the orange one. I was drinking regular Red Bulls in Europe. The only other ones I could find were like yellow and regulars. I was like, I found oranges in one place. They were in a vending machine and I couldn't get the vending machine to work. I was losing my mind. I was like, just give me it. Just give me my favorite flavor. It's been so long.
All right, so that does it for yet another episode
hold on.
of the Lucis Fast podcast.
Hold on. Hondo at the buzzer. Last question, Norm. How's that Milwaukee collection going?
It's for sale.
Is it?
Yep. I'm loading up all my pack out stuff, and that's going on the Craigslist very soon.
Nice.
You got batteries?
No, I'm keeping all my Milwaukee hand tools and power tools and stuff like that, but I
all the pack out
amassed a
shit.
collection of pack out stuff,
Yep.
which I no longer need.
You're not mobile anymore.
I took all my tools out of all that shit, put them in a little toolbox at my house, so I have another full set of tools in my house. So I now have like 3 sets of full tools everywhere around the state. But all my Milwaukee stuff, 90% of it's brand new, unused. It's getting put up for sale.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, so that does it for yet another episode of the Lucis Fast podcast. Before we sign off, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube, whether you use it or not.
We're almost at 120 subscribers, so get us there.
Woo,
I saw
crazy.
119 today.
It's getting wild.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
We're those big numbers for all the 4 people that
Yeah.
watch it.
Follow us on all of the socials everywhere at
LucisFast_pod on Instagram and X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Elon's yelling machine.
Yep.
Kyle, this is your final episode as a single man.
It is. Yeah. Click on the link tree in the bio for the merch and for everything else.
Someone told us we should go live on YouTube from your wedding.
You could.
No, like we could. We should. You
You can.
want to do it at like 10 o'clock?
Well, it ends at 10.
Or do it at like 9 o'clock when it's getting really
It ends at 10?
when it's getting really hairy?
Was this a wedding for toddlers, dude?
It's on a Sunday night,
It's
bro.
on a Sunday.
Yeah, fuck a job, dude.
The ceremony is at 3:30.
Bro, are you kidding me? Right at the start of the cup race?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
You
hoping
knew this. You've known this for months.
I was hoping I didn't look at the time. I was hoping the ceremony was maybe like 2. You get a nice quick ceremony in, get right to the bar, watch the race.
Oh, the ceremony's 15 minutes.
Perfect.
And then you have an hour and 15 minutes of happy hour.
Listen,
and then,
15 minutes is way too long.
yeah.
That's
including
you need a
apologizing.
solid 3.
All right. Yeah, next time you hear me, I'll be a married man.
We'll have some stories next week, I'm sure.
Yes. I'm Kyle Belcher.
I'm Dan Walker.
Norm Peltier.
And we'll catch you on the other side.
Bye.
Peace out, Girl Scouts. Be safe this week, everybody.
Meow, 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 meow.